Park. Another person has been taken into police custody. Police and paramedics were called to Billing Street around 1 p.m. They say there is no threat to the public. The opposition leader is promising not to cut education and health funding as he's questioned about his budget repair plans. Peter Dutton has promised to slash thousands of public sector jobs, saying his focus would be on bolstering frontline services while cutting back waste. The Liberal leader has also been asked for more detail on his response to a voter question about the woke agenda in educational institutions.
I want to make sure that our kids, whether they're at primary school or secondary school or indeed young Australians who are at universities, are receiving the education that their parents would expect them to receive, and our position will reflect community standards.
Malcolm Turnbull faced the press club today. The former Prime Minister broke into his Donald Trump impersonation.
You're weak and ineffectual. You don't know anything about China. We've got to stop looking at our own country through the prism of Washington. We've got to start looking after ourselves.
The Reserve Bank Governor says it's still not clear how planned US tariffs will impact Australia's economy. The RBA has kept interest rates on hold at 4.1% for its second meeting of the year. It's waiting for more evidence inflation is under control. Governor Michelle Bullock says the US President's next round of tariffs may also need to be taken into consideration.
If the impact on tariffs on supply dominates, then you might see a rise in inflation. But it's also possible that trade diversion might end up with cheaper goods coming into Australia. So there's competing impacts there.
The Victorian government has been condemned for making a hasty political decision when it put its hand up to host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. More from Stephanie Wacklowick.
Scrapping the event cost Victorian taxpayers $589 million, and Committee Chair David Limbrick is concerned the Victorian government could be destined for another disaster.
We have lots of big projects in Victoria, and I'm concerned that they're still making these sort of mistakes.
A final report into the scrapped event has concluded the Victorian government used flawed modelling, refused to heed warnings about costs and failed to undertake proper due diligence. Government ministers refused to cooperate with the inquiry, former Premier Daniel Andrews and Jacinta Allen among those singled out for bearing responsibility. But the Premier says they have no regrets.
The decision we made was the right decision.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent accusers claims she has just days to live. Virginia Giuffre has detailed health concerns on social media after she was involved in a serious accident with a school bus. She says she has suffered kidney failure and is being transferred to a specialist hospital. Now turning to 5AA sport.
Unleash the night at the Crazy Horse Review, where every show is unforgettable. Hindley Street.
Richmond's Ryan Mansell is preparing to face the AFL Tribunal over that contentious shove. Port's Zack Butters got through the club's main training session today. They face the Saints on Sunday, but rumours are circulating Butters will leave Alberton and head interstate next year. Adelaide is preparing to travel to the Gold Coast as the two undefeated sides prepare to face off on Saturday. Essendon's Tom Edwards will likely miss the rest of the season after rupturing his ACL at training today. And Sam Constas has been rewarded with his first Cricket Australia contract following his Boxing Day Test debut. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Afternoon, clearing up an earlier crash at McLaren Vale at the moment. That one's on Victor Harbour Road near Malpas Avenue. Clapham, a bit slow on Springbank Road there. They're replacing a Stobie pole that got hit this morning in a smash. It's on Springbank Road just near Toronto Avenue, the shops which are getting fixed up. A bit slow for works at Camden Park at the moment. Anzac Highway near Morford Road, getting busy. Main North Road at Enfield and Cameras Port Road, Aldinga. And look out for another one, River Road at Port Noarlunga. OTR's $10 meal deals are here for brekkie lunch and dinner. Delicious combos, great taste, unbeatable value. OTR, making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Sunny this afternoon, mostly sunny and 27 tomorrow. Thursday a possible shower 21. Friday a possible shower 21. Right now it's 26 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight the Prime Minister pledges a health boost for Adelaide South. More tickets released for next week's Gather Round. Details on the hormone driving women to binge drink. drink. The $20 million Jeans West mega sale after the retailer goes bust, and moves to slash the price of weight loss drugs to under $50. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
Streaming live via the FIVEAA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is FIVEAA, always Adelaide. The FIVEAA Sports Show. Rowey,
I am flabbergasted.
And Timmy G.
Absolute sports festival. Good afternoon, 6 minutes after 4. It is Tuesday. It is the first day of April. I hope you didn't fall for any gags in the office or on the site today, because they never end too well. But excitingly, we've entered the month of Gather Round, which was launched in our great city today. Very good times ahead. Rowey, Timmy G, g'day to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Sam. The old April Fool's Day, please.
Hey, Timmy, your fly's down.
Yeah, there it is.
What's that on this
You can't do it after midday. That's the
Okay.
that's a rule.
I did not even know it was.
Yeah,
that in the zone when footy season's on.
Yeah, well done. That's what I like
April
about you.
Fools, but kids only do that now.
No,
is it a thing now?
Did you hear it on
it's still
5AA today? Graham Goodings and Stacey Lee got our listeners pretty well.
Yeah.
Fitzy was going to be announced as the replacement for Stacey Lee in afternoons when she went on maternity leave.
Oh, well
I remember
played.
when Baz and Pilco
Yes, they used to do big ones.
to
Sydney.
When they moved to Sydney, they stopped the Sydney Harbour Bridge on April Fools.
They weren't too happy about that one. But
they nearly ran out of town.
They did get known, didn't they? Absolutely. Hey, be a part of the show, whether you're a fool or not. I've got a couple here. 82230000. We love you to get involved. There's plenty to put our teeth into tonight, Stephen. Cricket Australia handed out the new contracts by Webster, Matt Kuhneman and Sam Constas, the recipients there. So congratulations to those guys. To push or not to push, the Tribunal will answer that one tonight. So that's hot on the trail. Oscar Allen was reported to have met Sam Mitchell. Now, if your captain met with an opposition coach for a cup of tea and a bit of a chat, would you be happy about that? Interstate eyes on Butters and Tom de Koning, reportedly a $12 million offer from St Kilda. So it is all happening, Stephen. Plenty there.
Yeah, there is, Timmy. We'll get in. You started with the Australian men's contract list. There's 24 players. Last I looked, we just won the Sheffield Shield final and the One Day Cup.
Yes, we did.
We only have Alex Carey and Travis Head in there.
Yes. Yes, I did notice the list myself, actually.
2 South Australians.
Yes,
that
is correct. That is correct. But look, it's a funny one. We probably only had the 2 in the Sheffield Shield final, to be honest. You know, because that's 2 South Australian born, SA. So yeah, that's the challenge for us, is to just keep putting your name up in lights, and hopefully we had Connor McInerney as well, who played in the Shield final, who made his breakout 100. So, yeah, look, just keep persisting there, Stephen. You never know what could happen there. So, now, a lot of talk on the footy shows last night, and a lot that was sort of edging towards, what are we, round 3, going into round 4, and there's, so much debate on who's going where and when, and that's just going to be a thing of the future, I believe. But there was sort of a lot of speculation going on last night with Tom de Koning, Oscar Allen, you name it. So I just want to keep their eyes off of Butters. But we'll get to that. There's a bit good news at Alberton. There's a possible Butters return. Here's Ken Engley on that.
We've had a good little break, so we've had opportunities for the blokes who are coming back from injury and versus the blokes who have played with some sort of little issues during last week's game. So Zack's one of those players that we'll look at much more closely on Thursday. As I said last week, we're optimistic that he's getting closer, clearly. Whether that's this week or this Sunday or not, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I thought
they've missed him.
They first mentioned Gather Round. I thought, that's a bit of a stretch, but now it seems like Gather Round's probably a definite, and this one's a bit of a watch and see. So good news, I think.
What was it again?
That. He ended up doing something to his knee, I think. Yeah, which. Yeah, not sure how bad it was, but he's missed.
Well, he'd have been as diligent as anyone.
6, wasn't it?
Okay.
And he had that little op.
God, you missed him.
Yeah, he's well, let's see how he goes. But look, there's speculation on Butters. Let's put it this way.
Good.
There's a lot of eyes in a state on him, which is understandable. But here's Ken on that speculation and staying at Port.
Zack Butters gets spoken about a fair bit about his long-term future. I speak to Zack about lots of things, and not necessarily his long-term future, because I just know how he feels about being at Port Adelaide.
Are you confident Butters would stay, even if you're not here next year?
Yeah, yes, I am.
What makes you so confident?
just see the way he plays, to see the way he acts. His connection to this footy club is really, really strong. He's got great relationships, and I love the way people form it to my relationship. Zack's got great relationships with this whole footy team, and he's not all his players, all his coaches. He's a pretty important piece to this footy club, and as you asked me before, I'd like to have him out there playing pretty soon.
Absolutely. Now, everybody has an opinion, no doubt about that. Matthew Lloyd, well, he was pretty much the prophet of doom. Have a listen to this.
Port have to be really careful, I think, because they lost Dan Houston a year ago, and they'll lose Zack Butters, and then they're getting a new coach. They don't look the most attractive club for Josh Carr to try and get players.
Come on, mate, bit of blue sky.
Yeah, blue sky.
Where is it, mate?
Lloydie
Come
can
on,
be a bit like that.
And I think he might have missed the Kane Farrell signing yesterday. He might have missed that one before he went there.
That's pretty good. Just on Zack Butters, he is unequivocally Ken's favourite. And if I was coaching him, he'd be my favourite. He's that sort of kid.
Sort of player you love.
You don't reckon he'd be Josh Carr's favourite? I mean, this kid is connected to this club, and he's super important. I hope he's back. He is right in some respects, Lloydie, and I'm not trying to put some accelerant on the fire, but Dan Houston's gone. Yep. Just say yes or no.
One.
Dan Houston's gone. Zack Butters, whether he's looking, not looking, he's got a year to run his contract.
Till the end of
26. He's up in there. Let's just say he's up in there. Moles Bergman hasn't signed. Boakey's finishing. And Ollie Wines is closer to finish than the start. So they need to put Zack and Moles to bed, don't they? I mean, but that's fact. That is list management fact. I think they'll get both of them. But
you're right.
On the back of Dan going, and that's just...
Well, probably Lloydie is also...
You don't
missed.
lose elite talent like that.
Yeah, it's Mitch Georgiades. Remember they had all the articles, he's going back to the West, he's going back to the West, and then he signed. And everyone went, that's disappointing. So the prophet of dooms, they want it to happen. Look, I'll say this directly to Zack Butters. This is your Travis Boak moment. Travis Boak, 2012.
Yep.
He decided all those approaches from Geelong and the like, they came, remember they flew over. Jimmy Bartell was a part of it. Have a word to him tomorrow, don't worry. And they came over and he had a Travis Boak moment and he stayed.
He did.
And I'm saying, Zack, this is your Travis Boak moment.
Yeah, and that is a very, very good point. And look, let's put some levity on this. It was first mooted by a bloke by the name of Sam McClure, who I've dubbed Scoopy-Doo. Scoopity-Doo.
You have, actually.
He did.
Yes.
He did. Old Scoopy-Doo. So if it's come out of his gob, because he's a bit of a clown, if it's come out of his gob, the likelihood is that Zack Butters will sign a multi-year contract in the next month. You know where I'm going
I would
with
be
that,
more
don't
than
you?
happy with that.
Yeah,
I'd be more than happy with that. Hey, on the, what I'd say, not the good news front for Adelaide, because they've started the season unbelievably, won 12 quarters, can't do anything wrong at the moment, except just an injury to Murray and now one to Rochelle, which isn't great. It's Tex on the M's, just saying that maybe, you know, the missing games could be good for him, but it's going to be a headache for selectors this week.
Yeah, he's very sore, the poor bugger. He's going to be a big loss. His start of the year has been outstanding, and as it's been noted throughout the pre-season, he had an outstanding pre-season, and that gives you a great opportunity to have a good year. So we're going to miss him, and it's going to be a bit of a headache for Nixie and the coaches, whether you play Sid as a full game or Peatling plays a little bit more forward, or you've got guys in the SANFL that are in form like Luke Pedler, Lockie Murphy, Shonny and Bez are going really well, so good luck to them this week.
Yeah, well, they had amazing form in the sample because there was plenty of players playing very well. So what's your way of repairing that one?
Well, he is a big out. I agree with Tex with that. His start of the season has been outstanding and total team effort as far as he goes about his footy and hit the scoreboard. He's out. So I think the natural thing and the easy thing and probably the right thing to do is give Siv Draper a game. Now, you can put him in the midfield, you can put him forward, you can shuffle around, Peatling can go forward. Sid Draper kicked 2 goals last week, so I've got him in the 22. So that's the replacement. Then it's just an argument of who goes onto the bench, whether it's a Nankervis or a Pedler, but a lot of them are in form. I'd go for Nankervis, that's an easy decision.
There you go.
Personally.
And, there is a rich vein waiting to come in.
There is. I'm busting to get Peds in, and he's playing that position in the sample.
Yep.
So Murphy played more midfield. Schomburg played more midfield. Berry played more midfield. What's Rochelle? He's a forward. So Peds is the likely one for one. But, mate, let's get Sid Draper in there. Let's give him a full game.
Like the sound.
Get him a NAB Rising Star round 4 nomination.
Like the sound of that. I'm pretty sure he will get one at some stage. Don't worry about that. Hey, Andrew Dillon in town. We've got gather round coming. It's all building up nicely. But there's a big case going to the tribunal tonight. It is the Ryan Mansell one from Richmond, pushing O'Connell into the contest. He believes it's a bit different to others that have happened this year. Have a listen.
Again, without looking at specific instances, the one that's in front of the tribunal today has got a number of key differentiators to the other ones, but it'll play out tonight.
What are they?
Yeah, well, see, the one for me that is glaring is Ginbey into Lawler and broke his jaw. Now, that for me seemed a lot more deliberate, a lot more violent. Now,
so how's this one different? The fact that someone said the other day the AFL players should have all got the memo. Don't do it. And now this is the first incident after that, so he didn't get the memo and bang, we told you, we warned you. A letter went, and it did, a letter went to all the clubs, be careful about pushing a player into a contest. The next one that does it will get reported. That's what he might be alluding to.
Yeah,
they did get warned.
Yeah, and that could be it. And I said that myself. I thought they wanted to stamp it out. Yeah. It's different to a one-on-one me-you contest, right? And the ball's coming in, me and you together, and I get rid of you like that and go, bang. Yeah. Well, that to me is not the same as what we've been witnessing. No. Where people are just pushing them into a contest to get rid of them. Yeah. And we'll see what happens tonight.
You are allowed to push your opponent in the side. So what Mansell did wasn't illegal, but he pushed him into oncoming traffic. And as Jimmy Bartell said, the outcome gives him 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The outcome was he got knocked out. Now, he got knocked out. Was it Mansell's fault that Tom Lynch is a clumsy klutz that put his elbow out and caught him right at the top of the left eye? No, Tom Lynch's elbow is what done it. So why isn't Tom Lynch cited? And you reckon there'll be a day where both are cited? Well, Mansell, you pushed him, you're culpable, but Tom Lynch, your elbow knocked him clean, motherless, unconscious.
But we know the biggest issue of it all is if he doesn't get concussed at the end of the day, nothing happens.
To answer. So that's ridiculous.
LED signs might be in trouble soon when they crash into those.
No, we can laugh, but Tom Lynch's elbow is who knocked him out. Was it the action or his elbow?
Yeah, well...
That's what Jimmy Bartell's right. It's the outcome. He got knocked out.
But the prosecutor's argument would be he wouldn't be there if you didn't push him into it. That would be their argument.
Well, okay. Okay.
There you go.
But when you're on the road, you're already half culpable if there's a crash. The fact that you're actually in your car on the road. These players cross the white line. They're players, and they have to understand, and the game has to understand, the rule makers have to understand, and the governing body has to understand, it's a collision sport.
Yeah, the argument would be...
accidents do happen.
Did Ryan Mansell go through a red light? That would be the argument.
Yeah, but it was...
And you had a collision.
Yeah, but it was a football accident.
Yeah, was it? He's pushed him.
It's football in the side. You're allowed to push you in the side.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to shove you out of the way within 5 metres of the... Here's the rule. You can shove in the side within the ball within 5 metres.
Being devil's advocate here, the ball is going to the other two, not to those two.
Yeah.
So the devil advocate would say, well, mate, you weren't in that contest. You pushed him into it.
Okay.
So that, see what I'm coming from?
So you're happy for him to get 3?
No, I think he's going to be the victim of what
the action or the outcome is.
Yeah.
No, what they want to stop.
But so long as they're suspending the action, I think is what you're trying to say, Rowey, going forward, regardless of whether there's a concussion or not. That's how you wipe it out.
They want to say, if you're in that situation, that those are the two that are competing. If you're going to push your player into it, well, we're going to stamp that out.
So if Sam Lawler happens again, it's a broken jaw. Do you get 3 weeks?
Yeah, well...
Because it's not concussion.
But he deliberately pushed him in there.
That's the question.
Who thinks it's a football accident?
So I think if it's...
Who thinks that collision is a football accident?
I'll tell you the difference is your point about somebody going up for a screamer and their knee goes in the back of the head. I go, that's a footy accident. But me deliberately pushing you into something, then I've deliberately done that.
Well, how do you know that he's... So you reckon Mansell's intention was to push him into that incident and get him knocked out?
Just to get him away so he could get the front and centre.
Well, aren't you allowed to do that in the football? Well, I am allowed to push you in the side.
We'll find out tonight whether you're allowed to.
Oh God!
But you can see how it's going to be argued out.
That's exactly right.
And that's what I'm trying to do here.
Right.
And Nick Revolt, he got quite up in arms last night. He was a bit hot on umpires who have started to stop the game when there's an appearing somebody injured. Now, just have a listen to this rant.
How do you spell delay, AFL? With a D. Stop Delaying the game for injured players. 90 seconds this took. The players all standing around. Bounce the ball. He got busted ribs, yes, I know, but the umpire doesn't know that.
I'm with you.
He hasn't got X-ray vision. The players will start manipulating this if you don't jump on it.
Stopped it for cramp the other day.
They did for Dacos in opening round. Bounce the ball, get on with the game.
Wow.
It's an interesting one.
Who produces Nick? He's changed.
What are your
There's
thoughts?
no wood duck comments there.
Straight, because you were calling... No, you weren't calling the game, were you? I was just going to say, but you watched the game. Tell me this, what were your first thoughts? If you were there, umpiring on the light, would you have stopped the game?
I think it has crept in. My rule of thumb has always been, and the understanding, when an umpire blows the whistle, it means the little mobile ambulance is coming out or a stretch is coming out and you're concussed and you can't get off the ground. If you can walk off the ground, the minute you're on your feet, throw the ball up. That's what I was understood it to be. So, now, there wasn't... he was assessed, he got up and he walked off. The umpire should have bounced the ball. Nick Rewalt's right.
Nobody actually knows what that injury is at that moment.
No.
And the
doctor does. The doctor let him get up and walk off. So if he's let him walk off, bounce the bloody ball.
And the umpire, when Dacos was cramping, I mean, you're not stopping the game for that.
No.
There was only two things that stopped the game when we played. Now, we know everything moves on. But it was stretcher on the ground, stop the game, and because, somebody maybe hasn't moved a lot, you've got to be careful. But the second one was the blood rule when that came in.
Yes.
Remember the blood rule came in the 80s when we were playing.
When HIV was massive.
Up it went.
Across the arms.
Everybody had to wait until that player come off and that player came back into the same position.
Yeah.
So that's the only two rules that I know of that you can actually stop the game for an injured player.
But now, Nick Rewalt's right. I'm more critical of the score review. How long does that take?
Well,
that's another argument.
Yeah,
that Fogarty one was bad.
Give us a call, 8223 0000, to delay the game or not to delay the game. What's your thoughts? To do it or not to do it?
And the shove with the MRO and the Tribunal tonight. Have your say. 8223 0000 is the number. We'll speak to John Ralph from Fox Footy and the Herald Sun very soon about how the Tribunal will play out. We'll speak to Shield winner and, of course, new state hero Jason Sanger tonight. We have Ned McHenry in the studio. And, of course, at 5 o'clock, he'll dissect everything in the world of football in Coach's Corner, Scotty Camporeale. Port Locker Room tickets too. It's all to come. Your call's next. 8223 0000.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Imagine waking up in a home designed for luxury living, where every day brings the opportunity for a morning swim, state-of-the-art wellness amenities, and evenings spent with friends. Retirement isn't about slowing down, it's about living on your own terms. Living Choice has created luxury homes with premium resort-style amenities and a community of like-minded individuals who believe retirement is about living life to the fullest. Make your choice. Living Choice. Go to livingchoice.com.au.
Hi, Sarah Wren here, Market Lead at FIVEAA. 2025 will mark my first year participating in the annual Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out. On June 19, SA business and community leaders will gather at Adelaide Zoo for one night to raise funds and awareness for people who sleep rough every night. If you're a business or community leader, help break the cycle of homelessness by signing up at ceosleepout.org.au.
Hurry in! Massive savings are waiting for you at Chemist Warehouse. Don't miss out on these unbelievable offers. There's Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies Hair Skin Nails 180s, only $22.99. Help your muscles recover with Nutrilife Magnesium Glycinate 120 capsules, only $27.99. Nature's Own Super B Complex 150 tablets, only $28.99. And try LifeSpace Immune Support Probiotic capsules, just $44.99. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Immerse yourself in a world of wildlife without leaving the city. At Adelaide Zoo, home to prowling tigers, irresistibly cute otters and meerkats, gentle galloping giraffes, and roly-poly playful giant pandas. Discover over 250 majestic animals nestled in magnificent botanic gardens and many up-close animal experiences. Take a walk through nature and discover the wild within. Visit adelaidezoo.com.au.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here.
You're listening to Rich Grow's Black Marvel fruit and citrus food, producing bigger, juicier fruits. Its proven formula contains the perfect blend of quality nutrients and fast-acting potash and iron to create the Rich Grow effect. To see the difference in your garden, grab some Rich Grow Black Marvel fruit and citrus food and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Going away on a road trip this Easter? Get ready to roll with TJM's flash sale. Score big and save up to 40% off camping gear and light bars, plus 20% off suspension, 20% off canopies and 20% off recovery gear. Want to know more and see what else is on sale? Head into TJM Nailsworth or Ranella to get your Easter road trip ready. But hurry, sale ends Friday, April 4th. Take the lead with TJM.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
26 minutes after 4 on this Tuesday with John Ralph very shortly, and of course your calls 8223 0000. Lots of issues around the game of footy right now. You can share your opinion with us. First though, let's check your traffic for Rossdale Homes, SA's most trusted, custom design, fixed pricing, total peace of mind, because trust is a must.
At McLaren Vale, cleaning out an earlier accident on Victor Harbour Road in Malpas Avenue. Stobie Pole getting replaced from an earlier accident at Clapham, what's on Springbank Road near Toronto Avenue, just near the shops. Little busy as we speak, Main North Road at Nailsworth. Quite slow the parade at Norwood, with a camera at Grant Scully Road at Clarendon. If you're sick of paying for expensive subscriptions, don't worry. You can stream hit comedy, drama and kids entertainment free and ad-free on ABC iView. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rightio, we'll go to your calls. Delaying the game. Let's go Adrian at Carricalinga. G'day, Adrian.
G'day, boys. How you going?
Excellent. Yourself?
Yeah, bloody good, actually. Rip a day on the way home from work, so pretty happy with myself.
Beautiful. What are your thoughts, buddy?
The delay in the game, I think, yeah, let's just get on with it. You know, they're hard men. They can handle it. If it's bad enough, the doctor will tell them. And the one about Dacos, well, we all know it's Dacos. He plays for Collingwood. AFL have to appease him, so that makes sense. But the pushing the man into the player, now, both you lads have got a bit of mongrel in you when you played footy, so I know you blokes were pretty hard at it. You're not telling me that if you push someone into the line of traffic, you knew you were doing it. Same as the exact same thing that Maynard did when he took out young Brayshaw from Melbourne when he got airborne. He knew exactly where he was going to come down, and when he came down, he cleaned the bloke up, and he made it look like it was something but not something. But you know what you're doing. We know where our bodies are. We're all over it. And these guys, he did it deliberately, and he should go for it.
Thanks
I
for
think
the call,
that's what
Adrian.
the AFL said, Adrian. That's a good point of view. You're right.
Yeah, got one text, unique home-style food text backing that up.
Yeah.
Wall says, pushing blokes into another player is low act and they should be stamped out of the game. There you go. Thanks, Wall.
Cool. Here's another great little text, unique home-style food text. It's from AJ. Surprised the umpires don't personally give Dacos the pickle juice when he was down. They did. Right out of the back pocket. Or, here, mate, come and have
Well,
it.
the St. Bernard comes up with it. The barrel under the thing with the pickle juice here. Take
Hello,
this.
Jeff from Aldgate.
G'day. Look, seriously, Zack Butters going to Victoria. At the start of the season, I know he's on a short contract at the moment, but I thought it was April Fool's Day when I heard that this morning, that news break. I cannot believe the Victorians at the start of the AFL season going around poaching players or wanting to. I don't think Ken Hinkley wants him to go. I don't think Zack wants to go. What is it about money that speaks all things in football? What is it?
Yeah, Jeff, I was only thinking about the Oscar Allen report that was...
So he's the captain of West Coast?
Correct, that apparently met with Sam Mitchell on the Sunday and had a conversation. And I would have thought that some people say, are we mature enough to have, this to be allowed? And I said, well, is it mature enough or is it poaching? Now, I reckon...
Well, the industry's saying it's mature enough. The players and the coaches are right, but us fans aren't happy with it.
But I think you allow managers to do that, not yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you have managers for. Anyway, give us a call, 8223 0000, $50 Powers voucher.
Have your say. Very shortly, on the other side of the 4:30 headlines, we'll speak to Fox Footy and Herald Sun's John Ralph.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the 5AA News headlines. A person has sustained serious, potentially life-threatening injuries following a stabbing at Elizabeth Park. The major parties have found some common ground on the election campaign trail today on the topic of trade talks with the US. The boss of the Reserve Bank says the current election campaign didn't factor into the decision to keep interest rates on hold. And in sport, Sam Constas has been rewarded with his first Cricket Australia contract. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Afternoon at Semaphore Park, got some urgent sewer works happening at the moment. Bower Road near Sampson Road. Clapham crews replacing the Stobie pole from a crash this morning. It's on Springbank Road in Toronto Avenue, just near the shops, causing a few delays. Also got delays with some works at Canberra Park, Anzac Highway in Morford Road. Quite busy at the moment. Taplings Hill Road at Glenelg North, quite slow. South Road at Karratha Park. Cover cameras, Port Road, Aldinga and Barnett Road at Evanston. Tired of high winter energy bills? Save money with the Barbecues Galore quality wood heater. Embrace natural warmth and save this winter at Barbecues Galore. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, 27. Right now it's 26 degrees. We'll have more news at 5 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
We asked our listeners before the break if they like pop-ins.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Rob on the text line made the point, if you're going to pop in, he's okay as long as the person brings cake.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
Our pop-in hasn't brought cake, but
I brought tax cuts.
We want
$2,500 on average for every listener.
5AA breakfast.
You brought tax cuts and a new medical facility.
A fantastic medical facility. $150 million from the Commonwealth.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The Kia Cerato set the bar as Kia's most popular small sedan. Now, the new first ever Kia K4 raises it. Best in class second row legroom, ultra wide screens, and a GT line that comes turbocharged. Enter Kia's biggest small sedan, the Kia K4. Small sedan, big personality. Test drive today or find out more at kia.com.au.
Kia, movement that inspires. Is it the best Beechwood home ever made? Possibly, but there's always more to come from Beechwood. Introducing the Caliente, nearing completion and open soon for viewing at Craigburn Farm. The Caliente is a multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style with unmatched street appeal. Inspired by Palm Springs and California, this incredible home is definitely a conversation starter, and the team at Beechwood Homes cannot wait for you to see it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
The Easter Bunny has hopped into all 18 RSPCA op shops and hidden eggs for you to find. Head into any RSPCA op shop until the end of April and hunt for the hidden eggs in store. Each egg unlocks a special discount and every purchase helps animals in need. So hop to it and find those eggs. Visit your nearest RSPCA op shop today and find a bargain. For more info, head to rspcasa.org.au.
When it comes to real estate, Photobase Group does it all. Marketing, signage, print, photography, videography and design. And now they're adding to their award-winning team. Photobase Group are currently on the hunt for casual real estate sign installers available 3 to 5 days a week from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. A vehicle is provided along with training and all the tools and equipment needed to ensure you enjoy the work and deliver perfect outcomes for their valued clients. Get in contact today by calling 8229 9000.
Mario Maiola Promotions and 5AA present Blowin' in the Wind, honouring Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Bob Dylan with friends Johnny Cash, Joan Baez and the Travelling Wilburys. Come celebrate the legends who contributed to cultural change through inspired lyrics and songs of revolution with an amazing cast. The times they're a-changing, folks, so don't think twice because it's all right. Blowin' in the Wind, Her Majesty's Theatre, Friday 23rd of May. Book now at Ticketek.
Rowey and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
It's outcome-based. Yeah, so if anything, a lot of people would want it action-based, not outcome-based.
That's what careless is. If you tackle someone and
no, what I'm saying is, people, if he wasn't concussed, we're not talking about it.
It is a dead-set joke. They have had the worst 18 months, I reckon, the leadership of the AFL. They want to be transparent. They said that at the start, then they shut up shop.
It's caused a lot of debate. It has hit the tribunal as we speak. They're just beginning now, the Ryan Mansell case. Your chance to win Port Locker Room tickets this Sunday very shortly, so stay tuned, Port fans, for that to get you to Adelaide Oval. But right now, thanks to Parafield Airport Liquor, home of the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits, life is better with your pals.
Absolutely. Fox Footy and Herald Suns. John Ralph joining us. G'day, Ralphie.
Hello, boys. How you doing? I know a little bit about the tribunal. I've sat through a few cases. I reckon this one gives Ryan as much chance to get off as any player we've seen in the last couple of years. I just think there's so many ways that Richmond can mount their defence. Yeah, they can be angry about it, and they're absolutely furious, compared to the Sam Laura Ruben Ginbey incident. But I reckon this is one that's absolute 50-50.
Yeah, well, we were discussing it prior to bringing you on, and I was being devil's advocate with Rowey and saying, well, if the deliberate action is a push, then they may present that as that's why that incident happened. So if you don't deliberately push him into it, it wouldn't happen. So that can be the prosecution, if you like. That can be their argument.
Yeah, I mean, the AFL always had this massively high threshold that you basically had to anticipate that you pushing that player into that contest was likely to not only injure him, but in this case, concuss him, because that's why it's 3 weeks. Now, they put a memo out. They got a bit upset about it, repeated concussions and a shoulder injury to Mitch Owen. And all of a sudden, that threshold just was lessened so much, where basically what the AFL has judged that Ryan Mansell has done is anticipated that even though the ball went over his head, even though his head was spinning, even though that his opponent was going towards the ball, even though the opponent was grappling him, when he gave him a little nudge to push him off balance, he could anticipate that he was going to run into Tom Lynch's elbow and was going to be concussed. I mean, that to me would seem a really, hard bridge to try and sustain by the AFL. So, there's the likes of Eddie Betts who have suggested that, the forward craft that we've seen for 100 years will change as we know it. But, I would imagine every time a forward gets front and centre, they are trying to not forcefully push their opponent into the contest, but they're trying to get their, elbow up underneath his shoulder, and they're trying to leverage him off balance so they can get to the next contest. I think this was very much in the contest because, what Mansell was trying to do was get to the ball, the split second it hit the ground after, it came front and centre from either Lynch or Caminiti.
How much will they use the Lawler case as an example, Richmond?
Absolutely, they will. Yeah, they're incandescent with rage. What the AFL will counter is that the eyes were not on the ball. So with Ginbey, his eyes very much were on the ball all the way through. He tried to push Lawler off and had every right to try and think he would have marked that ball. Now, I think if you do look closely, what you do see with Ryan Mansell is that he looks at the contest, looks over his shoulder, sees where that contest is, and then tries to push his opponent into it. And so, that's the legal argument. I have no idea what Jeff Gleeson, who's the tribunal boss, and his couple of, henchmen, his couple of jury members will say. But, it absolutely will be a comparison point. I just don't know how much the tribunal jury will factor it in.
Well, it's a footy accident. We all know that. No one was aware that an elbow would collide with the opponent's head. Yeah, and here's the hardest thing is the player now has to adjust. Coaches have to coach a different way. We were all coached to get superior position. Now, superior position might be in certain instances front position, work your player under the ball, but you were coached to do that. That's all Mansell's done. He wanted to get superior position, which was front and square. He's pushed his opponent in the sight, which you're allowed to do within 5 metres of the ball. He wasn't to know that he was going to clumsily fall over and catch the elbow of Tom Lynch. I mean, it's just a joke. He gets 3 weeks for that. The game's a joke.
No, it's a good point. And again, I would have loved it to have done it with the Archer incident as well, Jackson Archer, with I think it was Luke Cleary.
Yeah.
The tribunal has a real chance to say in these incidents, okay, like he's been found guilty, we're going to give him 1 week because we can see the exceptional circumstances. Call it whatever you want to. But the tribunal these days, whenever they do find someone guilty, they just rubber stamp the initial penalty. So what we showed on Fox Footies on the couch last night, where Will Day broke his collarbone because he got pushed into the contest by Jacob Hopper. Once you start seeing these things, they do pop up everywhere. So if the AFL at the end of the season wants to say, we've had a really good look at it, we've reviewed the rules, here's 100 incidents, guys, you're on notice, that's fine. But, 2 days before sending out an email to the clubs, which, let's face it, the clubs don't always pass on to the players, that doesn't give them the chance to train it, that doesn't give them the chance to adjust their techniques. I just think that'd be really unfair.
One of your roosters over there, Scoop-de-Doo, said that Zack Butters is turning his head and looking at moving over at the end of the year. What a load of crap that one is. Johnny, where do you sit on it?
When a Victorian club's not been optimistic about poaching your best South Australian or Port Adelaide talent, that's always the case. And again, I think Chris Davies talked about it on radio. It was the start of last week. I mean, everyone has known that has been a talking point. Imagine Josh Carr saying, "Yep, I'm going to trade my best player." Even though I've never had the chance to actually coach him and build a relationship with him. The thing is for Zack Butters as well, he's 1 year short of free agency. What are the free agent offers right now for Tom McConing and for Luke Davies Jr.? Two pretty similar players, $1.7 million. So that's free agency premium or tax or whatever you want to call it. It's outrageous. Imagine the offers he would get at the end of next year if it was that he decided to go. Now, some people would say, okay, well, yeah, but you'd only get one compensation pick. No, you just match the bid like Adelaide did with Paddy Dangerfield, and you get 2 first-rounders. There's not one single reason why Port Adelaide would blink. Now, I'm sure he's Kenny's boy at the moment, but it doesn't mean he can't be Josh Carr's boy when he has a year of coaching him, and hopefully he's, not only wowed by his midfield, coaching style, but also him as a man-manager of an entire football club.
Malcolm Blight, unsighted, moved on McDermott, McGuinness and Jarman. So there's your precedents.
No, I'm not saying you don't do it with the senior players to try and cause a ripple effect. But I mean, imagine Port Adelaide right now look just bog ordinary, don't they? But there's no way in which this is a team that wins a premiership without that amazing talent of Butters. Yeah, we all understand, of course, Rowey and Horne-Francis are fantastic players, and, they'll get a key position player again at some stage. They're having to move the ball really quickly, and when they don't move it quickly, they look ordinary. But it would be, I don't want to say career suicide, but it would be, catastrophic for him to decide, okay, we'll move on to Zack Butters. I'm quite sure that Zack at times has feelings of being homesick, and, you hear from a million different people, oh, no, he wants to come back. But again, all I'd say is, at the end of next year, both parties will be in a better position. Him to get a massive contract, Port Adelaide to know where he stands, and even then they don't have to let him go because he's only a restricted free agent.
The Oscar Allen rumour that he met with Sam Mitchell, not sure how much is behind that, but if it did happen, is it, as a lot of people are saying, is it just the industry maturing or is it just plain poaching?
I do think there's a higher premium on a captain not doing those things in normal circumstances. That you have to set an example for your teammates, and there's issues of loyalty and all those things. Even though, of course, we know that so many of these things happen these days. What I would say with Oscar Allen is that his West Coast have not offered him an amazing deal. I don't think it's the quantum or the tenure that others are offering. They're worried about his knee. They're worried about some of those long-term deals they've offered to Nick Nat, Darling, Gaff. McGovern as well. And so I think it's beholden upon him to say, okay, what is the market out there? So I'm much more forgiving of Oscar than I would be, say, if West Coast had offered him 7 years at $1.1 million, and he just said, oh, look, I actually would like 1.3. I think in this case, they basically forced his hand to try and, look at other options. And right now I'd say, haven't offered him the length, haven't offered him the quantum, not going to win a premiership with him there, and probably sort of happy to get the compensation pick at 3 or 4. So I think there's a lot of reasons why he'd be thinking right now, I need to talk to someone like Sam Mitchell, who I know from West Coast days when he was an assistant, know him from Tommy Barrass's wedding. Yeah, I'm just a bit more forgiving. I don't know whether those those caveats allow you blokes to have that forgiveness, or just think stuff him, he's the captain, he should know better.
I think leave it to the managers. But good on you, Ralphie. Really appreciate your time, buddy.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Fox Footy and Herald Sun's John Ralph. A pal, an absolute pal. And when you're after that special drop, get into Pals. They've got it. Parafield Airport Liquor. It's a home of the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits. Yep, life's better with your pals.
I forgot Sam Mitchell was at the Eagles for a long time. I actually forgot that. No wonder he got Barrass.
He's already got
after
Barrass.
Allen. He'd be cherry-picking that team. Wow. Hello there, Brett from Noarlunga Downs.
Good afternoon, fellas. With the shove, I think the AFL at the end of the season should wait and that, instead of changing the rules, they send out videos and all that of what players can and can't do. Then it seems like a few games in, someone's getting hurt or something like that. The AFL steps in and says, all right, we'll clamp down on this. and thinking, what are players meant to do, you know, like change their whole game system or something like that, you know? Like the AFL, I don't know if they know what they're doing, you know, the boss and that. So, you know, how to play, if they don't know what they're doing, how do the players? So,
yeah, Brett, I think you make a fair point. I felt like the memo came out and then the first incident happened, right, you're gonna cop it. That's what it felt like when you saw the others, and you sort of think, especially the Lawler one, the broken jaw, you think that's the one if it was going to be acted upon. But it feels like it was a trial game. It was like, he had his eyes on the ball. I feel like this one is the right. We put the memo out and you didn't follow it. Thanks, Brett. Good man.
Yeah, well done. Hello, Alex.
G'day. How we going, boys?
Excellent. Oh, the lovely Ordinga. Beautiful day today.
Oh, yeah, sensational. Just on the Travis spoke for Veronica Cozy, I'm not sure you should be telling him that. If he'd have gone to Geelong, he would have won 3 or 4 premierships.
Well, at least 2.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen, Alex. You never know.
True.
Oh, love it. Fox Footy Blackout, mate? What's that one? Oh, for the Saturday games?
Yeah.
Yeah, the AFL should be fine. I feel like they're giving me the bird because I can't afford the Foxtel or KO. You get no footy coverage.
Yeah, on a lot of people are starting to notice that, Alex, and a lot of people are sort of arguing about it. I know one guy, he said he's gone halves with a mate to get the KO, and another person went 4 ways with it because I think if you buy the $35 one, you can go 4 ways to reduce the outlay. So a lot of people are trying to find ways to get it cheaper. But yeah, it's a
go to your local pub.
I think they're just starting to notice it, Alex, because it's now going to be round 4.
It's almost what's going on? It's almost halfway. It goes to round 8. So after
correct.
round 8, it's back to what we're used to.
Yeah,
Saturday
but
on
still,
free-to-air.
they're
But
manipulating the market.
It's the future.
Unique Home-style food techs. What's up with Jennifer tonight? Today he thinks he's Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny. What's that all about? Has that got anything to do with footy?
I don't know why you read them out.
Maria, have a good hard look at yourself.
That's probably more the point.
Well, we're interactive.
Just because it's in front of you, you don't have to read
was at the top of the list. I just go straight to the top. I think that's how it works.
You might need a filter. It's 13 to 5. Let's
whatever.
check your traffic out there.
At Semmelford Park Urgent Sewer Works on Bower Road near Sampson Road. Clapham, crews replacing a Stobie pole from an earlier accident on Springbank Road at Toronto Avenue, just near the old shops there. Modbury North, Golden Grove Road near Milne Road has some works. We're down to 40 for works at Virginia. Anglevar Road near Maloney Road, and got a camera, Esplanade Seafood. Another one too, River Road at Port Nalunga. Optus Mobile, Internet and Tablet plans are better together. Bundle eligible Optus plans and save big. Ends April 6. Visit Optus in-store or online. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
'Cause I'm Timmy G.
At 12 minutes to 5, you want to win your way to the Adelaide Oval on the weekend. Port Adelaide versus the Saints on Sunday. We have tickets to give away to the 5AA locker room. You can get there. Call through now. 8223 0055. We'll play next.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
If you want to know what's going on at the Port Adelaide Football Club, listen in to the 5AA Sports Show. Each week, Rowey and Timmy G chat with the players and coaches in the know. Thanks to Sharman Shelving. Sharman have moved their showroom next door into the big white building, still at 412 North East Road.
Now here's something I'm sure will benefit many listeners. For the relief of pain and other symptoms associated with mild arthritis and inflammation, try Arbor Vitae, like Rob.
Until I started taking Arbor Vitae, I had pain from mild to severe arthritis in all my joints from my active days when younger, playing rugby league and then working for over 50 years as a builder. It wasn't until July 2023 when I read an article about Arbor Vitae that I decided to give it a punt, having tried everything else with no luck. Within 1 week of starting Arbor Vitae, I started to notice a difference. I could feel relief from pain, and to my amazement, within 2 weeks all my pain had gone, and I was pain-free for the first time in probably 50 years.
Just like Rob, Arbor Vitae could have a positive effect on your life too. Arbor Vitae is available now at all major chemists and health food stores. Arbor Vitae, it's wellness backed by science. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early.
or later. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
Going away on a road trip this Easter? Get ready to roll with TJM's Flash Sale. Score big and save up to 40% off camping gear and light bars, plus 20% off suspension, 20% off canopies and 20% off recovery gear. Want to know more and see what else is on sale? Head into TJM Nailsworth or Ranella to get your Easter road trip ready. But hurry, sale ends Friday, April 4th. Take the lead with TJM.
The Easter Bunny has hopped into all 18 RSPCA op shops and hidden eggs for you to find. Head into any RSPCA op shop until the end of April and hunt for the hidden eggs in store. Each egg unlocks a special discount and every purchase helps animals in need. So hop to it and find those eggs. Visit your nearest RSPCA op shop today and find a bargain. For more info, head to rspcasa.org.au.
If I say the word sport, are you thinking ball or bet?
Favourites and some great odds for you to get.
If gambling's never far from your thoughts, or you're often looking forward to your next bet, you could be showing the early signs of gambling harm. But if you spot the harm, you can stop the harm. Visit gamblingharmsupport.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
9 minutes to 5. After 5 o'clock, we'll go into Coach's Corner with the ever-reliable and very smart Scotty Camporeale. And you can tune in on the live stream, of course, our Adrian Bryan Hyundai live stream, where you can visit them and take a test drive today to find your perfect Hyundai at Alifs Road, St Mary's. But we want to get you to the footy, of course.
Yeah, Port take on St Kilda. It is this Sunday, a game they really need to win, and you'd want to watch it in the 5AA locker room. And Andrew from Enfield, you get first crack. Here's Timmy.
Absolutely. You get 5 callers, each get a turn. Nearest the pin, closest to the margin without going over. Ooh. Andrew, the question is, Ollie Wines leads Port Adelaide in disposals this season. How many disposals does he have this season? It's between 50 and 100.
I'm going to go with 74.
Thank you, Andrew. 74. We got Craig from Brighton. All right, Craig. What do you think, buddy?
I'll go with, what do we play? 3 games?
Yes.
Go 76.
Thank you for that. Let's go Mitch at Henley Beach. G'day, Mitch.
G'day, how's it going?
Good, buddy. What number?
I'm going to go 78.
78 for Mitch. Let's go to Engle Farm. G'day, Graham.
G'day. How you going, guys?
All right, buddy.
I'm going 62.
62. And Paul at Cumberland Park. All right, Paul, you're the last but not least. What number are you going for?
All right. Let's go with 69.
69. Okay, let's have a look at that list. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is 98 disposals.
Now, to all
Mitch,
those listeners...
Mitch, you have 1 at Henley Beach with 78.
You would have thought he'd average around 30 a game. 30 times 3.
He started...
He's around 90.
He's getting a lot of it. He's getting a lot of it. But congratulations. Mitch, you ever been in the 5AA locker room?
No, not yet. I've heard all about it, but definitely I got told about it by a few of the boys, and they said call up, so I gave it a go, and here we are.
Oh, well done, Mitch. Who will you take with you? Is it going to be a toss of the coin, or you'll do your own quiz?
Oh, I don't know yet. I got a few people that I got on the line, but no, it's definitely something to look forward to.
Excellent, mate. We'll get in there. Take a photo with me, take a selfie with me down there, and then send it to us, all right? Good man.
Perfect. No worries.
See you, Mitch. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
What are you down there? What are you doing down there?
Oh, there's a banner.
Oh, is there?
A few old players. So,
I reckon just take someone that can really fill his boots up on the alcohol, drink responsibly. The CLK legal injury report, Josh Rochelle, ribs, 4 to 6. Nick Murray, knee. Good news. He'll be back in 2 or 3. They're saying he jarred it, which is great. It was his knee that he had reconstructed. That's brilliant.
That's good news.
And the last one's Carl Gallagher. So 2 of your best 22 are out. Rochelle out. I think Sid Draper comes into the 22. Shuffle the team around. Maybe
Still
Dan
a short
Curtis
list,
or
isn't
Peter
it?
It is. Well,
it's a very short list.
They've done a very good job.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Port, on the other hand, do have 9 on their list still, but we know the long-termers Todd Marshall and Jack Lukosius. We know that their long-termers Brandon Zerk-Thatcher is still in the 4 to 6 week bracket. I think that just continually says unknown. Ryan Burton, a hip, 2 weeks away. Tommy Anastasopoulos, 1 to 2 weeks, so he's getting closer. Jeb McEntee did a hammy, so about a week away. Lockie Jones is going to be a test. Ollie Lord is going to be a test for his shoulder. Zack Butters, knee tests. So 3 exciting tests at Port Adelaide this week. That would be good if you're able to reduce it from 9 down to 6 with those 3 coming through with flying colours. That would be awesome. But
you need them.
Yeah,
the cavalry's coming.
You do need
Is
them.
that what they say?
The cavalry's coming.
What do I
Cavalry.
say?
You say cavalry.
Cavalry's over there. It's a great hospital.
I was born there.
Yeah,
North Adelaide. Yeah.
Do you have a personal injury claim? Get the compensation you deserve. Visit clklegal.com.au. Just quickly, an update from the Tribunal since it has been going. We've been talking about Ryan Mansell's case. So the Tigers disagree that it was rough conduct and also disagree it was careless. Ryan Mansell's giving evidence as we speak. His argument so far is that Liam O'Connell has got one hand around my back and one hand around my front, so I'm struggling to move. My focus is to compete for the ball, try and get some separation off my defender and try and win the footy. It's small forward craft. Mansell says O'Connell is starting to release him as he pushes and says that he's trying to get separation from O'Connell and he's not sure where Lynch and Caminiti are at the moment. O'Connell's in his eyesight. There is a late question, were you trying to push him into those 2 players? Mansell has said no. He was asked, are you trying to push them into their path? He's also said no. So that'll
take his word
continue.
for it. That's exactly what you do. You get what we call superior position. And the Irishman, I mean, God, have some awareness about yourself, mate. He goes straight into a contest, open like a butterfly. That butterfly landed on him right in the jaw.
That's a Matthew Nick sort of area. He's talking about butterflies. All right.
There it is. That's why I did it.
We have the news coming up, but straight after that, we're going to hop straight into Coach's Corner with Scotty Campriale.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Kathy doesn't have time to wait around for deliveries. That's why we've updated the AusPost app to include 2-hour estimated delivery notifications, so Kathy doesn't have to. Come on. You ask, we deliver at Australia Post. Available when matched to a MyPost account.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Last month, we serviced around 11,000 vehicles, more than 3,000 Hyundais, i30s, 20s, Santa Fe's, 2,000 Kias, Sorrentos, Carnivals, Rios, over 700 Hondas. That's right, over 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters or book online. All centres offer repair now, pay later options. So switch and save with Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Next time you pour Fluorio milk into your coffee or tea, over your cereal or in your smoothie, you're closer to being an SA dairy farmer than you think. 100% of Fluorio Co milk comes from our state's best dairy farmers and their families. So when you buy any Fluorio milk product, you become part of that big family too, doing your bit to support our farming families. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
Wayville Hyundai's 2024 stock clearance is on now. Every new 2024 Hyundai is priced to clear. No waiting, no delays. You can drive away today. Did you know you can always get your car in quicker for a service at Wayville Hyundai? Enjoy peace of mind knowing you're in the best hands with our expert service team. Ask about our service now, pay later options. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground at 11 Goodwood Road.
Happy birthday to you! 1, 2, 3.
There's a good reason so many people celebrate their birthday at the Dutch Pantry Cafe. A whole menu of authentic Dutch food for brekkie, brunch or lunch. Think of classics like croquettes, mini Dutch pancakes and Dutch pea soup, along with chip cones and Biscoff milkshakes. However old you're turning, celebrate at the Dutch Pantry Cafe. OG Road, Clemzig, open 7 days. Look for the big windmill.
South Australia, CMAX Clinical Research needs your help. If you're aged 18 to 55 and generally healthy, you're invited to apply for a clinical trial testing a new potential epilepsy treatment. By taking part, you'll spend 3 nights at CMAX and attend 3 follow-up visits. Plus, you'll get paid for your time following trial completion. Your participation could make a difference for over 50 million people worldwide living with epilepsy. Interested in joining? Apply today at cmax.com.au.
With so many holiday homes on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. Surfing Tina at a beach villa. Is that a shark? Or channel surfing Tina in an apartment. Ooh, a shark show. Book whoever you want to be. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
Last month, around 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, 27. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Get down to the free open road and outdoor show at Jayco West Beach this weekend. jaycoadelaide.com.au.
A man is undergoing surgery after a stabbing north of the city. Police and paramedics were called to Billing Street at Elizabeth Park around 1 this afternoon following reports of a violent altercation. A 36-year-old man was found with serious stab wounds. Superintendent Julie Thomas says a 35-year-old man has been arrested.
On arrival, a person had crashed their vehicle and was subsequently arrested for various assault offences. That person is in hospital receiving treatment for minor injuries.
Police say the incident is not random and both men are known to each other. The Prime Minister visited Adelaide today for a major healthcare announcement in the marginal seat of Boothby. Labor will provide $150 million in funding for a 10-storey Flinders Healthcare Centre in partnership with Flinders University. Anthony Albanese says it will be an invaluable centre south of the city.
When this is up and running, there will be able to be 100 patients supported by this service and facility every day at any time.
The Reserve Bank kept interest rates on hold today, deciding against back-to-back cuts. More from Michael Packey.
Market watchers had widely expected the RBA to keep the official cash rate on hold at 4.1%. The Reserve is waiting for further evidence inflation is under control and also to see if there's any fallout from more tariffs being imposed by the Trump administration. The decision to keep rates steady has been made by a new specialist RBA board, which is just focused on interest rate movements. Some analysts believe rates will remain where they are until well after the federal election.
Flight attendants are calling on travellers to watch their behaviour and drinking in the air following 2 serious incidents on international Jetstar flights. A flight from Bali to Melbourne had to return to Denpasar last night after a passenger tried to open an aircraft door and was abusive to crew. Just hours earlier, this time on a flight from Melbourne to Bali, passengers punched on after an ugly clash over a reclining seat. Flight Attendants Union Secretary Terry O'Toole says banning boozing before boarding might be the answer.
You know, the poor crew, can I have a gin and tonic? A passenger says, yes, sure. They don't know that that's your 6th or 7th. Every alcoholic drink in the air is the equivalent of 3 on the ground because you're in a pressurised cabin, your blood thins, and so it has a greater effect on you.
Cigarette filters now warn people about smoking-related illness. From today, each cigarette stick will feature 1 of 8 warnings, including causes 16 cancer. Australia is just the 2nd country in the world to have these individual messages on each cigarette. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Unleash the night at the Crazy Horse Review, where every show is unforgettable. Hindley Street.
The countdown continues to gather round in Adelaide. Will be the focus of round 5 with all AFL games to be played at Adelaide Oval, on the Parade or at Lindock. AFL boss Andrew Dillon thrilled with how the concept has been embraced.
It's been an incredible success for the first 2. We know that the third one's going to be incredible amount of tickets sold from outside of South Australia, which is great, but also great for all of our South Australian footy fans to see if they've got a second team to be able to see them as well.
Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinkley is confident Zack Butters will remain at the club long term. There is speculation he may consider a move home to Victoria at season's end. Meantime, he is a long shot to pull on the boots this weekend when the Power play the Saints. Sam Constas is among the new names on the Cricket Australia men's contract list. The 19-year-old batter has been rewarded for a breakout summer. Chair of Selectors George Bailey says he has no doubt Constas will find the right tempo to ensure consistent performances.
He's young. We know that he's at the start of a journey, it looks like, and hopefully it's a very exciting journey. And it's there's a half eye to the future there, but we think he's got a bright future.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Afternoon, got a few delays at Semaphore Park today. Urgent sewer works happening at the moment. Bower Road near Sampson Road. Also delays at Clapham. Replacing a Stobie pole at the moment from an earlier crash this morning. It's on Springbank Road at Toronto Avenue, just in the shops, which are getting fixed up at the moment. Also got a few delays with works at Camden Park, Anzac Highway to Morford Road. Some delays South Road, Edwardstown, really busy at the moment. Tapley's Hill Road, Glenelg North with the Camera Port Road, Adelaide. Do you or someone you care for need complex mental health support? Sane can help. Choose from a range of free digital and telehealth support services. Visit sane.org today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, 27. Thursday, partly cloudy, 22. Friday, cloudy, 21. Right now, it's 26 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight, the Prime Minister pledges a health boost for Adelaide South. More tickets released for next week's Gather Round. Details on the hormone driving women to binge drink. The $20 million Jeans West mega sale after the retailer goes bust. And moves to slash the price of weight loss drugs to under $50. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA. The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Great to have you back with us at 7 minutes after 5. Plenty still to come up on the show tonight. Jason Sanger, the hero at Karen Rolton Oval for our SA boys on Saturday, will join us at 5:30. Ned McHenry live in studio after 6 o'clock as well, off the back of a great victory on Friday in the Showdown Fish-Off. And, of course, you can watch live on the Adrian Bryan Hyundai live stream. We're on Facebook and on YouTube on our 5AA socials. You can visit Adrian Bryan Hyundai. Take a test drive today to find your perfect Hyundai at A-Lifts Road, St Mary's. But right now, it's time to welcome in.
On the 5AA Sports Show, this is Coach's Corner with Scott Camporeale. Thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods, proudly baking for hundreds of South Australian businesses for 35 years. Greatness in the making.
Campo, welcome.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here.
I love it when you come in because you keep me level. Have you ever got a feed of crabs and you put 60 of them in a stainless steel pot and you bring them to the boil and the stainless steel lid's on the top and it's just
bubbling?
And you just got to just grab it and just take it off.
Yeah.
You?
Not yet.
When can I?
Not yet.
When can I lift that lid?
I told you before round 1. At least till
he knows where I'm going.
At least till round 4, round 5. Okay. That's where it settles, because you just see there's so many anomalies in terms of who's winning and who's not, and the competition is very close. So he can only be a little bit off, and all of a sudden you just get what you deserve. I mean, and the same thing happened down the road. I mean, Port were a bit the same. You just got to be a bit off. Some of your best players not quite at the level, and all of a sudden you get exposed.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't fault what Adelaide have done in their first 3 weeks, and I was really impressed with how they won on the weekend. That was probably the thing for me. They had their way.
Yep.
They had their way with the first two teams. Like, they just obliterated them because they didn't put any pressure on them. But North Melbourne came with a level of contest and pressure that they hadn't seen, Adelaide. And they got into a bit of an arm wrestle. And I said during the call, I like this because I want to see how much they've used that word mature. I want to see how they went about it. And I thought they passed with flying colours.
They did.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Gold Coast because that'll be another test.
Yeah.
In the call, you mentioned the ball movement, the numbers. You've been able to assess them. You got your pad open. Are they morphing into the Lions? Are they Brisbane Lions Mark II? Again, it's only 3 games, I get that, but there's some similarities.
Well, I think I think they started it in 23 in terms of, and if you remember when they did win and when they didn't lose, you heard me in the calls. If you can restrict Adelaide to under 80 uncontested marks, that's their mode. They want to try and kick mark and get through that way. Yeah. 24, they either got found out or they didn't execute properly or they didn't spend enough time on it.
And maybe talent.
Well, maybe talent. I still think the talent was probably there. But they certainly didn't move the ball with any freedom in 24 as what they did in 23. But 25, you sit there and you go, and I've looked at it really closely. The numbers versus Brisbane, if you're looking at last year, and they've got Murray Davis in it, I think he's had a massive difference in the way they want to play, particularly when momentum's not quite going that way. And we saw that on the weekend. They went a bit kick mark. They honour the short 45. They do release it a bit quicker, where last year they were going lateral and slow, and then they turn it into more of a contest game. I still think that's probably their thing that they got to look out for. And I think this week against Gold Coast, I'm not sure Gold Coast will let them have 100+ marks. If I'm Damien Hardwick, I'm there going, we need to limit that. And if you think back at the call, Rowey, after half-time, they were on world record pace again. But North Melbourne changed the way the game went. And we spoke about contest, turning it into more of a stoppage game. But Adelaide were able to accept that and then go, yep, okay, let's turn it into a stoppage game, and they were able to still score from that source as well.
Points for, they're number one, 136. Scores per inside 50, 54%, number one. Points from stoppage, second. Points from intercept, first. Points forward half, second. And points from D50, F50, number one.
Yeah,
that's a nice set of numbers.
That's a good set of numbers for round three. There'd be probably 15 other teams that would love to have those numbers. Now, once again, though, let's not be disrespectful to the first two teams, because St Kilda have actually played some decent footy since Adelaide got hold of them, and they got a couple of players back. Yeah, correct.
So the numbers are inflated because it's a sample size of 3.
Well, it's always
Let's
hard.
see it against talent.
Well, because as a coach, you're sitting there going, well, and even last year, West Coast and North Melbourne, everyone gets a bump because those teams weren't that great. So you're sort of waiting to see what the other teams happen to do against those two teams. And every team's got a right to improve throughout the year as well. So they'll change some things. But this week's going to be a test, no doubt.
So it's bubbling. Leave the stainless steel lid on. Let it bubble and let the steam come out. They've won 12 quarters. They win the first quarter against Gold Coast this Saturday that we'll be calling. It'll be 13 quarters, one in a row. It'll be an absolute AFL world record. The lid's coming the square off then. So tune in. Well, look at Timmy's face.
And I tell you one thing. That's
Timmy, quarter time, round 4, the lid's off. That's embarrassing, Steve.
I mean, those numbers are great that you said, Roy, but that's a really good number. Like, you can't underestimate that. Like, they've played 12 quarters of footy and they've won every quarter. That's a pretty impressive number.
Of course it is.
So what it means is there's consistency, there's understanding, there's connection, there's all those words that we use as coaches. And it is impressive because it's not easy. Like, the AFL games are bloody hard to win, and to win all those quarters. And normally you take 3 out of 4. You're sitting there going, we just let ourselves down in a quarter there, and they may have kicked 7 or 8 goals, and we've seen that in the past as well with Adelaide, that they've sort of
they get scored upon easily. They've tidied
that up. So there's all these little 5%ers. They're not 1%ers. They're 5%ers that they're actually just starting to improve upon. And you can see they've got great belief in what they're doing, So well done to Matthew Nix and the coaching group. But you can see, I think you can see a little bit of what Brisbane have done. And there's nothing wrong with looking at what a previous premiership team has done. But it's whether you can execute. Because a lot of teams, we are a copycat industry in terms of who did this. Let's have a look at that. That worked. Let's have a crack at it. And that's fine. But you've got to have the players and the list to be able to do it.
Let's talk game style. I must admit, the Thursday night game wasn't a great display. Now,
have we moved to Port over Fisher Crows?
Yeah,
all right.
You paused for a moment, which is rare. So I went straight in. It wasn't a great display of football, and it was just the sheer want of Essendon that ran away with the game in the last quarter. But before that, we were seeing two teams make a lot of errors and not really execute anything that well. So it was a hard watch, I've got to say that. I just want to play Ken Hinkley because he was asked about the game style today.
No, I think our method's okay. I think our method's more than capable of winning AFL football. We just need to continue to chase that and to expect that at round 3 was it going to be absolutely perfect? Or no, it was not going to be. There was going to be some challenges with that, and as you said, sometimes it's personnel challenges, but ultimately we have to understand our game style and continue to chase that with the teams that we pick every week.
I feel like they're in a work in progress mode in each game they play. And it doesn't seem like they're there. If you were saying it's going to take 100% to get there, I don't even know that we're at 50%. It just doesn't seem to be getting executed very well.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? As a coach and as a player, and probably more so as a player, because I think as a coach, you know what you want to implement, and you've thought about it for a longer period of time than perhaps what the players have. And then when you're trying to execute as a player, you throw in pressure, inexperience, skill errors, all those things come into it. That's a fair bit to try and counteract.
A slippery night.
Yeah, correct. So you sit there, but still, Timmy, I was worried about the handball, and that came to fruition again. They overhandballed and Essendon brought some heat, and all of a sudden they get opened up on the flip side in that last quarter especially. They got smashed at ground level again at ground ball.
It's been a problem for
5 years.
5 years, isn't it?
And already you're sitting there going, you can play an uncontested style, but you've still got to match it in the contest and do it. So already, Port Adelaide are 18th for contested possession after 3 weeks. Already. So you're sitting there going, have they really addressed it? Maybe, maybe not. They're number 1 for uncontested possession, so they're still trying to do this kick mark mode. They're number 1 for marks average the game, so they're averaging 111 a game. So they're easy KPIs for an opposition team to go, if I pull that away, and they're not so great in the contest, we've got 2 pieces here that we can actually get hold of a team. And now you're relying on Horne-Francis and Rowey and these guys to do something special to keep them in the game. And when Rowey gets shut down on the weekend, and he's going to have Windhager this week against St Kilda because he's done 2 really good jobs. So don't expect Connor to be
getting 30
because he's got a nice balance of doing it, and I don't think he'll go to Horne-Francis because I think he probably goes forward and does some of that stuff, and he hasn't started well. They're 16th from clearance, Tim, so they're not getting the ball to where they go.
18th in contested, 16th from clearance.
And also they're 17th from intercept possession, so they're actually not intercepting the ball. If you looked at Rowey's numbers and from being able to intercept the ball and then go back the other way, they just don't have that mechanism. They had one good game against Richmond, and I don't think Richmond are
measuring stick.
Well, they didn't put enough pressure on them to go the other way, and they were able to dominate clearance in that game to get it in there. So all of a sudden, there's some things that are just sitting there going, maybe just not quite right at the moment.
How long do you persist
with the game style? Well, I think it's one of those ones that, depending on now, you don't know. We don't know. We're hearing that it's Ken's, game style that they're going after. Do we really believe that? Do you believe that it's Ken's game style, or do you think that you do? Yeah, okay. Well, I think that it's probably gone a little bit more to Josh's way with the way that I was saying, because I haven't seen Ken's game plan be more handball. I haven't seen that over the journey. So that's where I sit there and go,
that's a massive shift.
They've tried.
But we did speak to him about it before the game last week.
Yeah.
And it was, Rowey asked the question, is it your game plan, is it Josh's? And he said, well, no, it's a collective. We do this pre-season and this is what we've come up with. And it was because our forward line was going to change.
Yeah, but having sat in the coach's box, Tim, when Don Pike introduced how we wanted to move the ball. Right. And then the assistant coach goes and he implements it and does those things. The senior coach is still the person that is saying yes or no to how we want to go about it. 100%. But this is a unique situation that you've got a coach that's coming in waiting. So, and I don't disagree with Josh having an influence on how they want to play, because give him the 12 months, give him the 10 months to do it. And yeah, there's going to be some pain, but ultimately at the end of the day, does that help him in 2026? And I know supporters don't want to hear that, but does that give him a head start in 2026 in real life in terms of getting feedback about that game style? And they might go, you know what, we can't, this is not actually how we want to go about it. We want to change it.
Or is Josh Carr keeping his cards close to his chest? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Yeah,
know when to walk away and know when to run. And he might want to come in and then he just goes, bang!
Yeah.
Which one do you reckon it is, Timmy?
Well, what we've heard from all the coaches is it's pretty much this is still going to be led by Ken and Josh is playing.
But what are they going
role.
to say though?
Yeah, but wouldn't you want it that way?
That Ken's saying that he's in charge? Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it is a unique situation that we're doing.
Well, this is why
that's why it's getting criticised every week.
Quite controversial. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Campo's here, all thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods. So we're welcoming your calls. If you want to have a chat with Campo, you've got a question for him, 8223 0000 is the number to call. Let's check your roads.
Afternoon at Semblefall Park. Look out for urgent sewer works today. Bower Road at Sampson Road. Clapham got a Stobie pole getting replaced at the moment from an earlier accident this morning. It's on Springbank Road near Toronto Avenue, just near the shops. Pretty slow as we speak due to works at Camden Park, Anzac Highway and Milford Road. Quite busy Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North with a camera, Port Road, Adelaide. The federal election has been announced. All Australian citizens 18 and over must be enrolled to vote. Enroller update to details by 8 p.m. Monday, 7 April at aec.gov.au. Authorised by the Electoral Commission of Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic. On 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. James Blunt is returning for his 2025 Australian Back to Bedlam Tour. After a sold-out national tour in 2024, James Blunt returns to AEC Arena on Tuesday the 28th of October for one incredible night. Want to be there? Keep it on 5AA for your chance to win tickets or grab yours now at destroyalllines.com. James Blunt, Back to Bedlam 2025 Australian Tour, proudly presented by 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, Brett Ebbett here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. We've been doing deals on a huge range of 2024 plate Mazdas, and we've just received truckloads more of them, all priced to clear. These drive-away deals on new Mazdas include free 12 months rego, free stamp duty, and accessory packs worth $500. Yep, absolutely free. All exclusive to Mawson Lakes Mazda. No gimmicks, just great deals. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, T's and C's apply.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
Are you ready to vote? The federal election has been announced. If you've recently changed your name or address, turned 18 or become an Australian citizen, you must update your enrolment details or enrol to vote before 8 p.m. on Monday, 7th of April. Head to aec.gov.au or pick up an enrolment form at any AEC office and return it to the AEC before 8 p.m. on Monday, 7th of April. Your vote will help shape Australia. Authorised by the Electoral Commission of Canberra.
At IGA, great value is easy to find. Like Supercoat dry dog food 2.6 to 2.8 kilos selected varieties, $10.80 each. IGA, you can't beat local. Offer ends April 1. Participating stores only. Excludes IGA, local grocer and Foodland.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here. You're listening to Rich Grow's Black Marvel fruit and citrus food, producing bigger, juicier fruits. Its proven formula contains the perfect blend of quality nutrients and fast-acting potash and iron to create the Rich Grow effect. To see the difference in your garden, grab some Rich Grow Black Marvel fruit and citrus food and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
With so many holiday homes on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. Surfing Tina at a beach villa. Is that a shark? Or channel surfing Tina in an apartment. Ooh, a shark show. Book whoever you want to be. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
Rowey and Timmy G. The 5AA Sports Show.
It's 24 after 5. Jason Sanger from the Sackers will join us at 5:30. But right now in studio, Scotty Camporeale for Coach's Corner, and we're taking your calls.
Yes, we are. Let's go to Highbury. Hello, Andy.
G'day. Camp, I'm just wondering, how many more games can Cumming, Scholl and May Miller have when they're having single possession games before the coaching staff go, boys, you need to go back, and Luke Nankervis needs to have a go now?
Yeah, look, it's always an interesting one, that, because if you take Cummings and Scholl, they play a unique position in the wing. Now, the wing role can be very much unrewarded in terms of in the disposal column, and it's more about covering exits, getting down, allowing another defender to be able to drop off. So they do a lot of unrewarded running. So I'm less worried about Scholl and Cumming, because I think that they've probably got those two spots down, and I think Scholl's been pretty consistent, and Cumming has obviously come across from GWS. The interesting one that you bring up is Wayne Miller, and he is... Oh, he's a unique talent. Oh, I just wish he'd get to the level that we all hope he would. And he looked a little bit off on the weekend. And I thought, at round one, I thought Nankervis was probably stiff not to get in. But Wayne brings you something different in terms of that half-back role. I think this week, and I heard you talk about it, right, I think Nankervis comes in this week.
He's the sub.
Yeah, and he comes
Sid
in the sub, and Sid starts forward. I think because he kicked 2 goals, he looked like he's in that spot. But he's well and truly banging the door down.
He's in blistering form.
He is, yeah.
I've seen his last 2 games.
Yeah. So I think...
Oh, he's at the level.
And you know what? I think that's great, because that puts Wayne on notice to make sure that he doesn't drop to the level that he needs to. And Wayne's a realistic young man. He understands, form will dictate where he goes, and he's not going to get gifted games, so he'll need to perform. But I'm not sure they'll pull the trigger on it this week.
Good on you, Andrew. We're in his corner. Let's go to McGill. Hello, Con. Connie? Con?
Yeah, Con. Just a quick question. Look, there's a fine line between fitness and skill execution, and I'm focusing on Port. Do you think, and I'm just asking you guys as a panel, do you think Port lacks fitness? Is their fitness not up to where the standard that it could be or it should be? And I question that because I look at the injuries, I look at the way that they, especially in second halves, the way they got their hands around their hips and their heads. Now, that's got a little bit to do with the fact that you're losing or you can't swing a momentum that's going the wrong way. But it just looks to me like they're just not cherry ripe fit. Now, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think...
Thanks, Con.
Yeah, good call. I think fitness is one of those interesting ones in the game. If you look at Hawthorn, who are covering the ground as good as anyone, or Adelaide, when you're playing well...
Oh, you're on top of the ground.
You're on top of the ground. When things are hard and you're not playing well and you're out of form, and we've all been it, I'll admit it, when you're not playing well, you think, oh, geez, it's a tough day here. Am I fit enough? But it's more mental. These guys do a mountain of work. There's no possible way that they're not in condition to play AFL football.
Yeah, just to probably elaborate on that, Con, every single high-performance team in every AFL club has all the numbers to see what's happening, when it's happening, why it's happening, so that it's, if you want to say one team is fitter than the other, you're talking a very minor percentage. Yeah. So I wrote down, is it fitness and or desire? Yeah. And I think when you lack confidence, sometimes your desire disappears.
Well, and the other thing too, and when we talk about it, Rowey, when we call games, when you're defending the opposition team, and that's what, say, Adelaide are doing and Brisbane are doing, when you're trying to defend a team that's keeping the ball off you, you're using more energy to defend. So then when you get the ball back, you've actually got no energy to attack. So it's actually because of the way that the make up the game is, most guys are around that 6 to 8 minutes. If you're defending for 5 minutes of those, you're tapped out, because that's just what happens in the modern day game. So you look way more and have way more energy when you've got the ball in your hands. You ask anyone, you can be a flat, and you have a look. You have a look at when they do behind the goals. You look, they go, geez, and Josh is going to be a big out for him, Josh Rochelle. When he's defending, he runs like his head's like this is last year. He's not doing it this year. He's been great this year. I've loved what he's done this year. But some of his clips last year, as soon as the ball turns over, he all of a sudden he's got an injection of real speed to get back towards goal. So it's more a mindset than a physical thing for mine.
Hello, Dougie.
Yeah, good day, guys. So I was at the game on Sunday. I thought Rob did a great job on Cherry. But in the third quarter, the North Melbourne ruckman seemed to get on top, and they kicked a couple of quick goals. And I noticed with the 6-6-6 rule, when we lost clearance, when the ball went back to the middle after a goal was kicked, it seemed very hard for the Crows to defend it with the North Melbourne big forwards in Jack Darling and that. Is there any way you could defend, set up defensively with the 6-6-6 rule to stop a run-on like that? Because the week before, North Melbourne kicked 5 goals in 6 minutes or something, and I was a little bit worried that was going to happen to the Crows as well.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot that you can do other than perhaps... and it depends how the speed it comes out of centre bounce. What you're trying to do out of the centre bounce is actually not allow them come out the front, because if it comes out of the front of the centre bounce and they've got a tail up, you're good luck, because your defenders are scrambling to get one-on-one. So you can't actually get enough, say, a winger on either side to get back and help that support, because it just comes out really quickly. That's one thing I have written down, Rowey, for Adelaide in terms of centre bounce. They got beaten again on the weekend, so it was 12-16. They gave up 4 goals, and they lost centre bounce the week before as well. Now, with the 6-6-6 rule, it's twofold. Either you get scored against or you lose field position. That's the two things that happen out of that. So, and coming up this week, with Witts, Rowey, Anderson, Miller, these guys around there,
very good.
They're pretty sharp down there. So it will be an important part of the ground, and it has been ever since the 6-6-6 rule came in.
Mate, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate it. All thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods, proudly baking for hundreds of South Australian businesses, large and small, for 35 years. Hustlers in the baking industry. Visit uniquehomestylefoods.com.au.
You got Campo on 5AA football on the weekend. Time for the 5:30 headlines. Jason Sanger is with us next.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good evening. Mel Usher with the 5AA News headlines. A man is undergoing surgery after a stabbing at Elizabeth Park this afternoon. The Reserve Bank has kept interest rates on hold today at 4.1%. Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew accuser Virginia Giuffre says she has just days to live after a bus crash. And in sport, Essendon's new recruit Tom Edwards has suffered a season-ending knee injury. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
At Semaphore Park, urgent sewer works on Bar Road near Sampson Road. Clapham, crews replacing a Stobie pole. Springbank Road near Toronto Avenue, just near the shops there. Slow on the drive home South Road. Edwardstown getting busy at the moment. Brighton Road, Glenelg East and Kenwood's Trimmer Parade season. And look out for another one today, Ryde Street at Calder South. The hit comedy Shirley Valentine, starring Natalie Bassingthwaite, opens tonight at Her Majesty's Theatre for 1 week only. Tickets at shirleyvalentine.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, 27. Right now it's 26 degrees. We'll have more news at 6 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Supermarkets have become the whipping boys in this election campaign. The Prime Minister's been talking a lot about price gouging. Well, the supermarket industry's decided to fight back.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Richard Forbes is the CEO of Independent Food Distributors Australia.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
They're saying the real issue facing them is the cost of power.
5AA Breakfast.
Warehouses with huge freezers are facing energy bills of $100,000 a month.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
At Coles, stock up on Huggies for the holidays. With 40% off Huggies bulk nappy pants. 24 to 36 pack, now just $13. Save $9. That's great value, hands down, at Coles. Offer ends 1 April.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industries sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
If I say the word instant, are you thinking coffee or scratchies? If gambling's never far from your thoughts, or you're often looking forward to your next bet, you could be showing the early signs of gambling harm. But if you spot the harm, you can stop the harm. Visit gamblingharmsupport.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. We're finding Adelaide is attracting people not only for its events and festivals, but for the long term, whether they're investing or making the move here. Last year, a significant number of our buyers came from interstate or overseas, making this an ideal time to showcase your home to a wider audience. At Toop and Toop, we have proven strategies to connect your property with the right buyers and ensure no opportunity is missed. Visit toop.com.au. Toop and Toop, Adelaide's trusted real estate advisors.
Keep the good times rolling at Stripe with bowling, laser tag, escape rooms, karaoke, plus our delectable party menu. There's a Strike party to suit every taste or budget. Parties also available at our sister brands Holy Moly Golf Club, Hijinks Hotel and Archie Brothers Cirque Electric.
Going away on a road trip this Easter? Get ready to roll with TJM's Flash Sale. Score big and save up to 40% off camping gear and light bars, plus 20% off suspension, 20% off canopies and 20% off recovery gear. Want to know more and see what else is on sale? Head into TJM Nailsworth or Ranella to get your Easter road trip ready. But hurry, sale ends Friday, April 4th. Take the lead with TJM.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Pushes it into the gap in the offside, and he's got his 100. Excellent performance from Jason Sanger. His third this season. He's absolutely superb. Jason Sanger, take a bow.
That was one of the great many moments over the weekend at Karen Rolton Ovals. Our South Australians took out the Shield.
Well, one of the SA Shield stars is our number 4. His name's Jason Sanger. He's on the line now. Jason, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how good's that? And to do very well in that second dig to carry the bat's brilliant.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really care how many runs I got as long as we end up winning that game. So it was pretty nerve-wracking at some stages, but we got there in the end, and the trophy's home.
Total team effort. People like me who love our Sackers and our South Australian cricket, we've had to wait 29 years for that. You come over from New South Wales in your first year, you nail it, Jason.
Yeah, we were joking about that at the end. Sort of mentioned after the one-day final, actually. Limo was sort of talking about, gee, it's been such a long time, a few finals he'd lost in the one-day format, and I made a joke that I was 1 from 1 and now 2 from 2. So, yeah, it's been a nice little start to my my journey here, my career. But it just means so much to, as you said, to so many of our supporters, so many of our members, the community, and then top it off, guys like Limo and Harry Nielsen who were toddlers when their old man's won it 29 years ago. It's a full circle. It's really cool.
It is beautiful. 3 for 28 the second dig. You're at the crease. In comes Alex Carey, a 202-run partnership. That was critical, wasn't it? Tell us about the partnership and the importance of it. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely was quite a nice batting track. I mean, Queensland posted 440 or whatever in that second inning. So we knew it was definitely gettable. We just needed to try and see off the new ball with obviously Nesta and Steck were bowling quite well. So, yeah, the new ball was going to present some opportunities to score, but it was going to be the best time for Queensland to try and get to try and take some wickets. So, yeah, we just sort of rectified. If we could just get through that new ball phase and just hang in there for long enough, the runs will come. And yeah, Kev was awesome to bat with. He doesn't really say a hell of a lot, which is good. He's always nice and focused, keeps it short and sharp, and yeah, we just hung in the partnership for long enough, and just kept ticking off 10 runs at a time. And would have been really special, I guess, if me and him at the end got to see us home. But you know, it wouldn't be a final without a small little hiccup or a bit of a twist. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a 202-run partnership and definitely put us in the mode to winning. But I was just wondering about some of the conversations throughout because it changed so much and because you guys were building and building on it. At some stage, when did you feel like, oh, this has turned our way?
Oh, geez, probably. Probably with 1 run to win. I was pretty. I'll tell you what. I got a bit nervous with about 30 to get. I reckon it was about 20 or 30 to get, and there was people on the boundary sort of banging on the signboard, sort of count the runs down. You know, from 80 to 60 to 50, and even then I was still like quite switched on. But I think when it was about 20 to get, that's when I was like, gee, we're actually gonna, we're gonna win this. And obviously a couple of wickets fell, which wasn't good. But I think it was when Benny hit those 2 fours, Mitch Swepson sort of around the wicket, and I couldn't hit Sweppo all day around the wicket. I really struggled with when he came around the wicket, bowling into the footmarks, and Benny just went 4-4 and made it with 1 run to go. So when he did that was a massive sigh of relief, and I was like, all right, this is ours to win now.
You said you were cramping a bit too during that innings, and in the end, with finding it hard to hold the bat. So it's any wonder you were pretty happy with Benny knocking a couple of 4s over the boundary line. But it was a great moment when Kez did chop it on. There was another scary little moment there. We lost 3 for 30, and it must have been again. Did you just grit your teeth and say, "Nah, we're going to go through with this. We're going to win this"?
Yeah, I think at the end of it, I was very determined to make sure. I think when Kez got out, I actually, when Limo was batting, I might need 30 or around 30-ish runs to win. And in your head, you sort of just calculating like, all right, I might take 10 or 15 of those. Limo might take 10 or 15. And in my head, I was adamant. It was probably the only moment in time I was kind of, thinking about what would happen if we won. And I remember just being absolutely adamant that I want him to hit the winning runs. I was like, if I need 1 to win, I'm blocking it all out. I'm going to make sure I give it to Limo.
Yeah.
But when he got out, and then obviously Scooter came in and he got out shortly after. I think it was probably in that moment where I was a bit like, it wouldn't be a final without just a little bit of a twist. It had to have a little bit of something to happen. And I mean, it just makes the fairy tale of the story just a little bit better. But obviously the bulk of the work was done when Kez got out, and it would have been really special obviously to meet him to finish it off. But at the end of the day, I don't think he would have really cared as long as we won as well.
Well done, Jason Sanger, our guest, our Shield winning number 4. You need 20 wickets to win a Shield game. Brendan Doggett got 11 of them. Man of the match. Gee, did he bowl well?
I'll tell you what, the morning of the game, I think no one knew what we were going to do if we won the toss. I think it was pretty easy from a Queensland point of view. They need 20 wickets to win the game, so I think they were always going to bowl first. But for us, it's one of those things where, you can play into bonus points or you can play into actually go about it. And I think stats actually sort of say bowling first for Karen Rolton's normally the way to go. Just with the wicket being probably the hardest time to bat is probably in the morning of day one. And saying that, we did that last week and we batted at Karen Rolton and we ended up making 600 or something. So it was a bit of a tricky one. But in the end, when we did win the toss to bowl, we had to make sure that we came on and we did bowl well. And we weren't going to have to try and get 500 or something in the first innings to try and win the bonus point. So but the best part about a bowling tackle all year, really, someone's always had a day out, and same with the batting. Someone's always had a day out, and our bowlers that we've used all year all come in, do their role, and they just know one of the boys is going to have a bag and walk away with most of the wickets. So I think for that to be Doggy, it was just it was his moment. It was versus his old team, in a Shield final. I think it just the script was half written, for him to get 11 and the best figures ever in a final. So it was a joy to watch, absolutely.
Yeah, and the biggest run chase to win too. You bowl leggies. You're down as a leggy. You any good at that? Why don't they let you bowl? Does Nathan McSweeney rate your bowling, Jason?
Yeah. I've bowled plenty of balls to him growing up, from the under 15, 17 to 19, so he knows about my leggies. But no, actually, I had a bit of a bicep injury during the season from bowling. So Yeah, it was. I've already done my. It's a weird one. Biceps more of a footy injury. You know, going for a tackle. We don't really hear biceps for people who bowl leg spin. So, yeah, Rhino was pretty keen just for me to put my bowling on ice for the back half of the year, just to make sure that I was fit enough to bat. So There was a small part there where I sort of raised it to McSweeney. Like, we hadn't got a wicket in a little while, and we weren't really too sure where the next one was coming from. So I sort of went up to him. I said, "Mate, if you need me to bowl, I can try and bowl." And he was adamant that he didn't want another injury. So he's like, "Nah, just focus on batting." So obviously I'm working hard on my bowling quite a lot, but with the injuries I had with my bowling this year, we just sort of thought that would be something that we can work on in the off season, probably rectify as to why I was sort of getting injured when I was bowling, and sort of build back slowly with a good strong rehab program. But yeah, obviously, my role on the team was to contribute runs with the bat first, but hopefully next year I can contribute some wickets with the ball too.
Hey, Jason, you mentioned 12 months ago you felt like you're at the crossroads. Why did you choose South Australia?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, at the time, I'd sort of been seeing what South Australia had been doing for a long time, and I mean, whilst the results from a stats point of view and wins and losses weren't overly great, they were building towards something quite special. And there'd be a lot of guys who had been from New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, who had gone over and done really well in their own right. And you look at guys like a Henry Hunt and a Liam Scott, Henry Thornton, Ben Menenti from New South Wales, where I was sort of following their careers, and they sort of made that move leaving New South Wales, and they gone over there and really made South Australia their home and had a lot of success with it. And you throw in guys like Nathan McSweeney leaving Queensland and come to South Australia and making it his home. And I sort of made a joke to Rhino about it must have been something in the water in Adelaide that was producing all these really good cricketers. So I just felt like there was a lot of guys in that team that were at a similar sort of stage of their career that I was. I'm only 25, and we have a lot of guys that are in that 24 to 30 sort of range, that sort of sweet spot of your career. They've been guys who had made the move over there who had done really well, and to have Rhino, who's someone that I've known since I was about 15 years old, coaching in the Australian sort of underage setups. And then you throw in Nathan McSweeney being captain, someone who I've played with and against Aussie 19s. When I was at New South Wales in the 15s, 17s, he was always in Queensland. And just I guess the people that were there, the coaches that were there, and I think what they were building towards, I could sort of see it from afar. And no doubt it was the right choice. But I mean, I've said it before, like I owe the organisation a lot. They gave me a second chance and they gave me an opportunity to play here, and to be able to to know that we've won a shield and a one-day trophy. It's really special.
Well, mate, 704 runs at 78 and a double.
Unreal.
And one dayer in the Shield probably says you made the right move, mate. 3 nights of celebration so far. How are all the boys travelling and your good self?
Yeah, they're doing okay. I mean, I think there's plenty of boys still going again today, actually. So, you don't ever win a Shield every day, and
that's it.
It's been 29 years between them, so hopefully it's not 29 years before the next one. But
no,
we'll definitely enjoy this week. Obviously a lot of celebration, just a lot of relief, to be honest. When you come to pre-season day one and you sit down and you do all your meetings and you go through, team culture and how can we win the Shield and what are we going to do and all the standards, and you set all these things up and you have all these chats and you have all these meetings and all the stuff just to try and, contest and then play in a final. And for an organisation like the Saka that were probably crying for some silverware, it's just a massive relief, and, no doubt we've been celebrating quite well, and I think we'll keep going for the rest of the week. Heaps of celebrations. There's been a lot of good fun, a lot of relief, and enjoy it with 26 of your really close mates. It just makes it all worth it.
Fill your boots up, son. Glad we got you. Enjoy. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Yeah, Jason Singer there. Phil immediately sent a text, Unique Home Sold Food text. Rowey, Jason Singer didn't carry his bat because he didn't open. I get that. I say that all the time. I do know that. You have to open the batting to carry the bat through the entire innings. What I meant to say is he was not out. 126, great night. Good on you, Phil.
Don't let the details get in the way of a good yarn.
Well,
is that what
everyone else knew what I was saying.
11 minutes to 6. Let's check your roads.
Still got delays at Semaphore Park. Urgent sewer works there. Bower Road near Sampson Road. Clapham. Crews replacing the Stobie pole still from an earlier accident. Springbank Road at Toronto Avenue just near the shops. Slow for works at Burnside. Greenhill Road near Glenburn Road. Getting busy for works at Goodwood. Goodwood Road and Railway Tourist South with Kenworth Port Road or Dinga. And Grand Scully Road at Clarendon tonight. Do you or someone you care for need complex mental health support? Sane can help. Choose from a range of free digital and telehealth support services. Visit sane.org today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
AutoCam. Look, this is real cutting-edge stuff.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
Real-time video with a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Check this out. There's the problem, there's the quote, and here you go, approved.
So good. Totally transparent instant SMS approval and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
What do free Medicare urgent care clinics, cheaper medicines, cheaper childcare, free TAFE, energy bill relief and tax cuts for every taxpayer all have in common? They've all been delivered by the Albanese Labor government to ease cost of living, and Labor will do more. More free Medicare urgent care clinics, more tax cuts, more energy bill relief, more bulk billing for all Australians and 20% off HEX debt. Labor is building Australia's future.
Authorised P. Erickson, ALP Canberra.
Imagine waking up in a home designed for luxury living, where every day brings the opportunity for a morning swim, state-of-the-art wellness amenities, and evenings spent with friends. Retirement isn't about slowing down, it's about living on your own terms. Living Choice has created luxury homes with premium resort-style amenities and a community of like-minded individuals who believe retirement is about living life to the fullest. Make your choice. Living Choice. Go to livingchoice.com.au.
Hi, Brett Ibbott here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. We've been doing deals on a huge range of 2024 plate Mazdas, and we've just received truckloads more of them, all priced to clear. These drive-away deals on new Mazdas include free 12 months rego, free stamp duty, and accessory packs worth $500. Yep, absolutely free. All exclusive to Mawson Lakes Mazda. No gimmicks, just great deals. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, T's and C's apply.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Have you ever dreamed of having the world's best Italian-made tiles in your home? Right now at National Tiles, select any one of our 17 very popular standard range tiles and we'll upgrade you to the world's very best Italian-made tiles absolutely free, saving you a massive $4,000 on an average 80 square metre order. Yes, have the world's best Italian-made tiles and depending on quantity, save up to $4,000 or more. But you'll have to be quick, so rush into National Tiles now and save. Conditions apply.
Does biting into an ice cream make your teeth feel sensitive?
Sensodyne Repair and Protect toothpaste provides lasting sensitivity relief with twice daily brushing. Always follow the directions for use.
Check this out.
Real-time video with a real-time report on my car.
There's the problem, there's the quote, and here you go, approved.
So good. Totally transparent instant SMS approval and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. New from Automasters.
Rowey and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
8 minutes to 6, Ned McHenry is going to join us live in studio after 6 o'clock, so hang tight. Always a bit of fun when Neddy's here ahead of the fishing show. We'll get back to your calls shortly as well, but if you're a keen football fan, you want to head along to Adelaide United. They have a home game against Sydney FC coming up this weekend. If you want to head on and support them at Cooper Stadium, a double pass to give away right now, 8223 0055. First caller through.
Great story, that.
Yeah.
Thought he was gone, thought his career was over. He loved what was presented to him by Jason Gillespie and Tim Nilsson, comes over here and wins 2 trophies.
So Jason Sanger's previous season with New South Wales, 542 runs at 24.
Yeah, big difference.
704 at 78. I reckon
that wins.
He's confident. feeling good. Beautiful stuff. All righty. Andrew Dillon, I know he's in town and he's promoting, Gather Round. He'll be back here, of course, next week.
And we'll speak to him on Thursday.
He'll come on the show on Thursday. We'll have a long list of things to go through, I would imagine. But one of them is the Tasmanian Stadium deal. Have a listen to this.
Seeing the high-level report that came out last night, I've said a number of times, it's a complex planning process that we're going through. It now goes to a hearing in a couple of months' time, and there'll be plenty of work done. There's some hurdles there, but we've always known that it wasn't going to be. It is complex and it's difficult, but we're really confident that the planning will play out the way it is, and we'll end up with the stadium, and we'll have the Tasmanian team ready to go in 2028.
So the Commission found that in this new report last night, which was from Tasmania, found the stadium's benefits had been overstated, and it's true the construction cost was more than $200 million greater than the government's original estimate of $775 million.
I was just about to say it was in the 700s.
775.
So 200 more, so we're talking nearly $1 billion.
That's a blowout.
So this would leave Tasmania with an extra $1.8 billion of debt they're talking about after all things are costed to.
There's been a lot of opposition to it right from the beginning. Initially. Because they're going, well, we can't afford that as a state. We can't afford that. You're not putting any money in. We're not going to carry the can on this. I think, the two political parties having a crack at one another over it.
Now.
And that's going to make it very difficult to get started in 28. That's the big one, because they want to start all their recruiting process as well. They got Benny Gale over there heading it up. Oh, I don't know. It's got hairs on it, I reckon, at the moment.
Well, unless the AFL got deep pockets.
$1 billion.
Well, no, they're going to have to kick in a bit more. The gap's 200,000. They signed off on a
775.
Now they're saying it's blowing out to X.
It would be $975 million, and it says more than, so it could even be $1 billion. That's a ridiculous amount of cost.
It'll end up $1 billion.
Where else has cost gone in the last couple of years? Where do you think they're going in the next couple?
That's right. Well, that's what I mean.
Well, that's right.
Building's gone through. Try and get the raw materials and the workers.
Yeah, this is a real concern, I reckon, for them, because I'd be planning plan B and be saying, Lonnie and Hobart, we're going to start our journey playing home games at those two grounds.
I think that was initially part of the discussion. Once they realised the stadium might not be on time.
You have to have a plan B.
Why is the roof essential?
Have you been to Tasmania?
There will be a roof.
There will be a roof.
Have you been anywhere near that waterway?
It's a very cold place, Sam. You've never been down to Tassie?
No, I haven't personally, but
it's very cold.
It's cold.
Purely for the
and it's right on the bank. You need a roof. And it rains there all the time. Actually, I said that to someone. They said it rains less in Hobart than it does in Adelaide. Yeah, and I said, crap.
Yeah.
Can someone fact check that?
I challenge that because we are the driest state and the driest continent.
But that's what I'm saying.
And if we're judging on the last 6 months.
Apparently our rainfall in Adelaide is higher than Hobart. Someone fact check that.
It's too cold. Get the roof on.
It's freezing.
We'll get the Bureau maybe to answer that for us.
Very important.
All right, the news is coming up. Ned McHenry in here next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
G'day, South Australians. Jackie Lambie here. I'm asking you to vote for the Jackie Lambie Network in the Senate. Rex Patrick will always put the people of South Australia first and fight like hell for you every day. Spoken and authorised by Jackie Lambie, 111 Macquarie Street, Hobart, Tasmania.
Immerse yourself in a world of wildlife without leaving the city at Adelaide Zoo, home to prowling tigers, irresistibly cute otters and meerkats, gentle galloping giraffes, and roly-poly playful giant pandas. Discover over 250 majestic animals nestled in magnificent botanic gardens and many up-close animal experiences. Take a walk through nature and discover the wild within. Visit adelaidezoo.com.au.
When you buy Fluorio Milk Company milk, you're pretty much buying direct from the farmer. We bottle it and send it straight to the supermarket. We deliver it ourselves too. It means we can give SA dairy farmers the best possible price per litre. So when you buy Fluorio milk, you're supporting SA dairy farmers and their families. Plus, your money stays here in SA. And in these times, that's good for all of us. Look for the local in your supermarket. FIVEAA Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
Mario Maiolo Promotions and 5AA present Blowin' in the Wind. Honouring Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Bob Dylan with friends Johnny Cash, Joan Baez and the Travelling Wilburys. Come celebrate the legends who contributed to cultural change through inspired lyrics and songs of revolution with an amazing cast. The times they're a-changing, folks, so don't think twice because it's all right. Blowin' in the Wind, Her Majesty's Theatre, Friday 23rd of May. Book now at Ticketek.
With so many holiday homes on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. Surfing Tina at a beach villa. Is that a shark? Or channel surfing Tina in an apartment. Ooh, a shark show. Book whoever you want to be. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
We love to see you, CMI. Come and experience what makes CMI Toyota SA's #1 selling Toyota dealer. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle, parts or service, our friendly team of Toyota experts are here to assist with all your vehicle needs. Head to cmitoyota.com.au or visit CMI Toyota today. We'd love to see you.
We love to see you, CMI.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, 27. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Get down to the free open road and outdoor show at Jayco West Beach this weekend. jaycoadelaide.com.au.
A man has life-threatening injuries after being stabbed at Elizabeth Park this afternoon. A violent altercation reported on Billing Street around 1 o'clock. The 36-year-old has undergone surgery after suffering serious stab wounds. Superintendent Julie Thomas says a 35-year-old man has been arrested. He crashed a car while leaving the scene.
The parties are known to one another and there is no further suspect or aspect of the investigation in that light.
The Reserve Bank has kept the cash rate on hold for now and says the upcoming election played no part in its decision. Zack Butters is travelling with the Prime Minister.
In a move which won't surprise either side of politics, the Reserve Bank has kept the official interest rate at 4.1%. While consumer prices are easing, the RBA is worried about how American tariffs could impact our economy. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says Australia is turning a corner after a tough few years.
Australians have worked hard to get those inflation rates down.
Opposition leader Peter Dutton claims rates would be lower if he were in power.
I want to see lower interest rates for families.
Both leaders are now campaigning across key electorates here in Victoria, a state which could be crucial to whoever ends up forming government.
Gather Round is fast approaching. Round 5 in the AFL will see footy fans converge on Adelaide. 2 games will be played in the Barossa for the first time on the Saturday and Sunday. Premier Peter Malinauskas says there'll be much more than just sport on offer in the region for visitors.
It's not just for people who have got a ticket to the footy. The bounce around the Barossa, I'm telling you, is going to be like the Norwood Food and Wine Festival last year at another level again. The team from the South Australian Tourism Commission have put a lot of work into that bounce around the Barossa service. It's free. A lot of wineries are taking part in it.
Causes 16 cancers and damages your lungs are among new messages now being printed on individual cigarettes. Australia has become the second country in the world after Canada to introduce the warnings. The Cancer Council's Alicia Brooks says evidence shows they work.
If smokers are presented with this information, that they make healthier, better choices for themselves around their smoking behaviours. And so that's why it's a number of changes it's just one of a number of changes that have come in today.
And Kid Rock has visited the White House. The singer was there to witness President Trump sign an executive order directing the Justice Department and Federal Trade Commission to crack down on ticket scalpers. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Unleash the night at the Crazy Horse Review, where every show is unforgettable. Hindley Street.
The pressure's on Port to get back on the winners list this weekend. They face St Kilda at home on Sunday. Coach Ken Hinckley has defended their playbook.
No, I think our method's okay. I think our method's more than capable of winning AFL football. We just need to continue to chase that and to expect that at round 3, was it going to be absolutely perfect? Or no, it was not going to be. There's going to be some challenges with that, and as you said, sometimes it's personnel challenges, but ultimately we have to understand our game style and continue to chase that with the team that we pick every week.
Crows Sid Draper is ready to be unleashed in the club's starting 22 against the Suns on the Gold Coast on Saturday. James Peatling giving his teammate a thumbs up.
I thought he took his opportunity well. Started to show the Adelaide faithful a bit of what he can do, which is always nice to see. And he's a good player, and he's still young, has a lot to learn, but he's going to be in good stead in the next few years.
Essendon's new recruit Tom Edwards has suffered a season-ending knee injury. He hurt himself at Bombers training today. Geelong Premiership defender Sam de Koning has re-signed with the Cats for 2 more seasons. And Cricket Australia has announced its men's contract list for next season, with 3 new players added: Matthew Kuhneman, Bo Webster and Sam Constas. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Whether your block's the size of Adelaide Oval or the Gold Square, customise your build with Sterling Homes.
Broken down bus on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road causing heavy delays as you're heading up the hill. Semaphore Park, Urchin Steelworks, Bar Road near Sampson Road and Clapham. Crews replacing a Stobie pole from an earlier accident on Springbank Road at Toronto Avenue. Busy at the moment, Main North Road at Enfield with the Canberra, the Esplanade at Seaford. Live big at Oporto. Try the Grande Chicken Bites, abundant chicken breast pieces with a crispy buttermilk coating and dipping sauce. 3 and 5 packs available at Oporto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Down to 14 tonight, mostly sunny for your Wednesday, 27. Thursday, partly cloudy, 22. Friday, cloudy, 21. Right now, it's 26 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Thank you, I'm Brenton Raglis. Tonight, a man is fighting for life after a stabbing at Elizabeth Park. A suspect in custody. A Semaphore man is standing trial after a former Bachelorette contestant was stabbed while topless waiting at a party. And moves to slash the price of weight loss drugs to under $50. Don't worry, you haven't missed the news. Start over on 9 now as soon as you're home.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. Rowey and Timmy G, the 5AA Sports Show.
5 minutes after 6 here on this Tuesday night. The 5AA Fishing Show is coming up very, very shortly. Of course, Ned McHenry spearheads that here on 5AA. Before the break, we were discussing rainfall in Tasmania versus Adelaide. We've had a few text messages. And
closer than you think.
It is actually. It's interesting, but I did want to go through the total rainfall of last year. Adelaide received 364 mils of rain. Hobart, 603. So almost double in Hobart.
Well,
but the average rainfall's a little bit more.
We've had a drought. We're off a drought.
And it's cold.
What's the average over the last 10 years?
It's colder.
Average is well, I don't know what the last 10 years, but the average rainfall in Hobart is around 600. Adelaide's 500.
So it's closer than you
It's
think.
relatively close.
Hello there, Nettie.
Hello, boys.
You
Hi.
look tired.
No, I look good.
You look tired.
That's not very nice.
Oh, welcome, Nick.
What a rude way to welcome me back in on a
You
Tuesday.
look tired. I'm concerned for you. You're burning the candle at both ends. You're doing too much.
I look $1 million. Look at me on our new screens here at the new studio. We've got the cameras and everything. Well, I don't comment on your appearance when I see you. I can say a lot of things about your appearance when I see you, but I don't, do I?
You call me that awkward fat uncle that sits in the corner is what you do.
Don't say that, Timmy, do I?
Hey, just start here. The 5AA Showdown Fish-Off, we won. No surprise.
You cannot be bragging about that, surely.
No, we are. We beat you.
Cannot.
We are.
Timmy, it wasn't even a win. It was just a shellacking.
It was
That was the whole thing. It was embarrassing.
Daddy Cook,
I was embarrassed by you guys with all your professionalism and the like and this, that and the other. And I can get this mark and that mark. And
Timmy, with Scotty, how many whiting did you catch? Give us
nil.
Yeah, zero.
0.0.
Point.
Not one.
We just wanted our winner, our guest, to win the $1,000.
Yeah,
well, you were that desperate, you drove over to the rocks and got a squid.
We did. We went to Marino.
I'm surprised.
We wanted to wait.
Nearly that got us over the line.
That was how embarrassing that was. No. It was a sham. I want to do it again, but we'll do it professionally.
Okay. You need to go and review it, a bit like Portland. Go review, maybe a change in game style, Timmy, then come back.
Can I tell you this? I actually enjoyed learning. I learnt how to cast. I learnt where the fish are. I had no idea that a lot of them like to feed down the bottom there.
No, you wouldn't think.
That's called a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
Well,
Who would have thought a fish was feeding on the bottom?
Don't the whiting sort of sit down there?
Yeah, they're down there.
And that's where they are, Timmy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't realise they'd stay down that low.
Timmy, see the shape of their
15,
mouth?
17 metres.
They eat worms and little crabs and bits and pieces right on the bottom, don't they?
And so why did Gar hang around the top? I could see the little buggers. I said, just get me a net.
Well, we do dab for
I
them.
said, this is killing me.
At night, you dab for them. That's good fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't. I was thinking, come on, bite that thing, hurry up, you know, and all the rest of it. And then I thought, just get me a net. I'll just scoop them up.
One bloke has a spotlight, the other bloke has a bottle of roasted Uncle Willie's port in his hand,
right?
And the other rooster just has the net and he dabs it. It's easy.
Timmy,
that's not fishing. That's just catching.
All right, that's cheating.
Still live, mate. Timmy, in a competition that was so weight related, you needed to catch the most weight. Why were you just stuffing around with garfish on the surface?
Because we couldn't catch anything else. So that's
Let's
why
talk footy. Crows 3 wins from 3. They've won 12 quarters. I was speaking to Campo about lifting the lid. When would you allow me to lift the lid with excitement that maybe they're good enough to get into the 8?
Yeah, I listened to that conversation with Campo. He was great, and it was a good discussion on air. I think this week's probably more so the
Big
test,
isn't it?
That's what everyone's saying. I think you look at their form. I think St Kilda's form probably stacks up a little bit better than what perhaps we thought round 1. Is that fair? St Kilda
they were
have been
awful,
good.
St Kilda.
I know they were.
Since they've won 2.
Yeah, but they bounced back against the Cats.
That's what I'm saying now, Timmy. So St Kilda's form's actually probably not as bad as what maybe some thought. Then they played North and obviously a struggling Essendon. But this week against Gold Coast will be a big test. I don't think Gold Coast have the defenders or the defence to actually match it with their forward line at the moment.
Those 3 key forwards.
But who can match it when they're all on? There's just so many.
Charlie Ballard's out, so that's a big blow
Ballard's
for him.
out. I'm not.
Good player.
If there's just so many avenues to score, and we're seeing offensively they've got their groove back, which I know you're excited about, Rowey. But
I love it.
I just there's so many avenues. Rochelle's out, obviously, which hurts a little bit. But is it Rankin that pops up for 3 or 4? Is it Fogarty who kicks 3 or 4? Tex kick 4 on the weekend. If you're scouting Adelaide at the moment, you're not quite sure where to throw magnets, are you?
Well, and there's not too many teams would have 3 good key defenders to be able to go Thilthorpe, Walker,
but also
Fogarty.
When Curtin floats forward, it's like, is there 4 of them?
Yeah, 197.
They're big.
I haven't seen the 4 of them out in the same forward line yet.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, literally out
in
there
the
together.
50, yeah.
He sort of like rotates the Walker out, then the Thilthorpe out.
To make sure they don't
and a Fogarty out.
have
Anyway,
too many.
You ever done ribs?
I've fractured a rib in my first year or second year. Yeah, it was sore.
Yeah. How many weeks did you miss?
No, I didn't miss a week.
There you go.
No, but I didn't crack 3 or 4.
Courage.
Oh, he's very sore, Josh.
That's a serious injury.
Of course it is.
What about those jokers on the commentary? Have you spoken about that at all? It was saying about getting up. He said the commentators at the time were accusing him of perhaps exaggerating the contact to stop play, and Nick Revolt spoke about that, about whether
he looks sore.
He looks sore, but the umpire stopped the game. Do you think that's fair or not?
No.
You don't think he should have stopped the game?
No.
Well,
just throw it straight back up?
Yeah, absolutely. Once you get to your feet, you're done. Walk off.
Right. So at what point do you stop the game when someone can't get to their feet?
Well, we're going to do some homework because we think the only 2 reasons you can shut it down, the only 2 reasons you can is a stretcher comes on or a blood draw. That's the only 2 reasons.
So if someone is unconscious on the ground?
Yep.
Well, then you call for a stretcher and they can stop the game.
So the minute that's called for?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the umpire can do that. He can call for a stretcher.
Well, Nick Revolts, he spoke on air on one of the TV shows, the one of 10.
I think he's trying to... stop the faking. Now, obviously, Josh was not faking. He wasn't faking the injury at all. But I think they were worried about the Dacos one, which was cramp. It's like, come on.
His suggestion was that teams will start exploiting it.
That's exactly right. Here's Nick.
Let's have a listen.
How do you spell delay, AFL? With a D. Stop delaying the game for injured players. 90 seconds this took. The players all standing around. Bounce the ball. He got busted ribs, yes, I know, but the umpire doesn't know that.
I'm with you.
He hasn't got X-ray vision. The players will start manipulating this if you don't jump on it.
Stopped it for cramp the other day.
They did for Dacos in opening round. Bounce the ball, get on with the game.
I love Nick Rewalt, but he's been bitten by a croc there. That's not you, Nick.
A certain croc media you're talking about, aren't you?
Yeah, they get produced a certain way. But they don't like wood ducks.
Oh, I think the 70%, Michael, of the footy public, and we spoke about this, and we're not going to go on about it, are pretty fed up with the level of just the amount of TV coverage and the level of scrutiny on it.
But what percentage would you say is negative?
Oh, well over half. No, probably more, actually. Probably 80%
Keep
would
going.
be critical.
I reckon it'd be 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
When you get a headline story, I guarantee you, most of it is negative.
How do you keep smiling, Timmy? How are you so happy all the time in this world?
Because I knew you were coming in tonight.
Well, you're a smiler. That's just been Timmy. When he crossed that white line, he was a bit of Hey, a young lad called Mansell plays as a small forward, and he had a defender scragging the living gizzards out of him, and you played that position. Actually, Timmy and I have all played that position where a defender's just got you. He wanted to get what we call separation and wanted to get what we also call superior position. We were taught as smalls to be front and square, and you fight for that spot, and you're allowed to fight for that spot. Pushed his opponent in the side, which you're allowed to do. He cannons forward because you're a bit of a clown. I mean, he ran back with the ball in the end. He took 2 or 3 steps. A clumsy Tom Litch, who tends to be clumsy, has caught him with his elbow, knocked him clean, motherless out. Now, he's got 3 weeks. He's up at the tribunal now.
They're deliberating as we speak.
Yeah.
Where do you sit?
I sit really strongly on this. I want to give some experience, I suppose, from when I was at AFL level to our listeners. As a small forward and the craft you learn from Matthew Wrights or Camporellis as your coaches, you are taught precisely that. That's your craft. So you want to try and get a small defender's back so they can't see you and they're not at a strong point being side on, Timmy. Agree? It's similar to midfield craft when you want to get pushed under. And you practice pushing your defender into that contest, as you say, to create separation. And then when the bobbling ball comes out, you've got more time and they don't have contact on you. That, at AFL clubs, every AFL club, that is practiced.
It is 101 forward craft.
Practice.
End of story. Close the book. That's the ledger. Shut up, AFL.
Excellent craft.
Yep.
Well executed. A poor outcome. If he gets weeks, that will be the worst decision
in the history of the game.
Of suspension that I've seen.
No,
it'll be very, Timmy, it'll be very close.
No, but here's the thing. There's a King's Counsel sitting there for the AFL asking the most ridiculous questions to Mansell.
Like what?
So these are some of them at the moment. So the AFL's asking,
embarrassing.
You knew forceful contact might happen with those other players? Mansell says, no, I don't agree. Did the memo in any way change the way you play the game? Mansell says, no, it didn't. You could you have released them earlier? Mansell says, too hard, his arms were around me. Could you have chosen not to push at all? Mansell said, I don't think so. Could have you pushed him in another direction to avoid the collision? Mansell, I didn't know they were there.
Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous.
Mansell bloke.
Yeah. He's going to get 3.
No.
He's holding his own here.
Okay. Occasionally, I will agree with Stephen Rowan. This is one of those circumstances, Timmy. This will be the worst call that I've seen. No. In my 24 years of history, this will be the worst call of suspension. It will be.
Beautiful.
I think you've all got short memories.
What's worse?
Name one worse.
There would be plenty.
This is the most outcome-based example.
That's exactly right. And Jim Bartell's been on about that. Archer, round 1, coming into a contest, his knee accidentally hits the boy in the head. It's worse than that one. And I thought he was stiff.
Yeah, I didn't think he was deliberate, though.
Okay.
No, this is so bad, Timmy.
It's got the deliberate on it. That's the problem.
But he didn't deliberately push him.
He didn't want to. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But then with the AFL, once they put a memo out, if something goes wrong, you're going to be the victim.
But is that a good thing for the game?
No. Protect the head at all costs isn't good for the game. I've been whacking on about this for years. You got to account for accidents, Timmy. You do. You know that.
This is the slipperiest slope, Timmy. We haven't
spoken about Port. Are they caught between the old way and the new way?
Port? I heard
You're watching a lot of them?
I heard your conversation, and it was a good discussion. You asked Timmy and said, is it Josh Carr's game plan or is it Ken Hinckley's? And I was listening intently because it is a good discussion. I don't think they're caught in between. They've always been a team that's wanted to go quick. Traditionally, their down-the-line kicks are in line with goals, so they've wanted to attack and express that. I just think, potentially...
Their uncontested numbers are through the roof.
Yeah.
Their uncontested marks is through the roof, and their handballs are through the roof. Ken's never played like that.
Well, no, yeah. He hasn't played with more of a handball to kick ratio, I agree. But they've always been a team that's wanted to go quick and explode off turnover, and they've always been aggressive with their ball
And the
movement.
line is that their forward line was going to have a completely different look, and that's why they wanted to change it.
Get it in one-on-one.
So they're trying to link up through the middle to get that into a smaller forward line.
Yeah.
And at the moment, they probably, we know they haven't nailed it.
Yeah. What about the loss of Houston? I said on air, I was in the rooms with the Crows for 6 years before every showdown when we previewed Port Adelaide. the number one player, without doubt, 80% of the time of intent before we previewed Port Adelaide was about Dan Houston.
Yeah.
80% of the time. That is true.
Yeah.
Stopping with his positioning at the back of the stoppage, he would always sit just off the back of the stoppage and they'd look for him and he'd kick the ball. He had great penetration. He was so hard to stop.
He's a great kick. Great kick.
And he's gone to me.
He is.
Well, Butters could be next.
Butters might be next. How do you reflect on that trade, Timmy? That must hurt. Because at the time, I remember you were relatively bullish about what you got back.
Yeah, I'd like what they got back, and that'll, only time sees that. I think in this, unfortunately, sometimes when players and the managers and the strength of the AFLPA, they want to move. It's like it's all in their favour. So it's really difficult to hang on.
Well, change the rules.
The only thing I would do in the Butters situation now is to say, if he this year said, I wouldn't mind going, I'd say no. You're contracted to the end of 26 and you're going to stay.
Well, that's speculation.
How about this one? Timmy's your captain.
Yeah.
And you love him and you admire him.
I do.
And correct, we all did. Timmy all of a sudden, round 3, decides to meet with an opposition coach about a possible move to that club. You're a player. How would you feel about that? That has happened with Oscar Allen and Sam Mitchell.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh, is it allegedly?
Oh, yeah, reports are. Allegedly.
Reports are. There's no photos.
Well,
no proof.
Well, hang on. So this is a scoop-de-doo story or is it real?
No.
I don't love
it. Has been.
Well, that's what he is.
It has been mooted that happened. So there seems to be enough groundswell under it.
Okay. How would you feel about that? You love Taylor Walker. Mention him meeting with another club.
Well, Tex
round 3.
Hang on. Tex is a little bit different because he's not a captain of the footy club.
Yeah. I'm just saying hypothetically when he was.
Jordan Dawson.
Dawson.
I think because the captain is trying to drive behavioural standards, culture, expectation, I think because it's the captain, that's probably the one player on the list that I think would sit really poorly in your gut, Timmy.
It would.
I don't like the look of it. I mean, if I was being mooted by anybody and it's round 3, I'm saying talk to the manager.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because the landscape's just changed so much. A lot of our listeners would say, look, it's a business. We like the movement. We like the trade.
We've matured as an industry.
We've matured. So
I haven't.
Yeah, all of us.
Well,
I hate that word maturity.
I'd said, is it maturing or is it just plain poaching?
It's called plain poaching.
Are we cavemen here? We're not ready for the change yet.
Nah.
Now, Sam Mitchell was at the West Coast as an assistant. He's already got Barras. It seems like he's going for low-hanging fruit.
Hey, have you ever had a butterfly land on you?
No.
Have you heard that? We were lost. Many Dicks used it again in a presser.
You're not talking about this analogy, are you?
What is it?
No.
Explain it.
This is
chasing butterflies.
Don't chase butterflies.
I was on the receiving end of this analogy several times, which is great.
You were. Come on. And I can imagine you would be. Tell us the story.
Well, you're so colourful, they'd love you.
Well, Nixie's a good communicator. So the great thing about Nixie, to his credit, is that you can knock on his door at any time and go and ask him a question or pester him. He is that type of guy. He's very approachable and he allows you to do that. So you'll go in there and you'll have questions. But as a head coach, sometimes you don't have the answer or you know that a player probably doesn't like the answer, so you don't tell him. So what Nixie says to you, he says, stop chasing the butterfly, stop searching for answers, just relax and let it land on you. That's his analogy. I used to hate it. I used to absolutely hate it.
But well, that's not helping me play footy. Well, I don't care about butterflies. They come out of a cocoon.
Well, James Peatling is a star. Star's a strong word. He's a star. Yeah. He's going to be a star. He already is a star. Okay. He would have been going into his office frustrated with certain things. He wanted potentially more of the footy, more impact on games. He said, Nixie, what can I do? This 1%er, was this right? And Nixie would have said, you're overthinking it. Don't look too much into the detail. Just relax, play, and let the butterfly land on you. That is what would have happened inside that conversation.
So this is Nixie's fallback thing. Every coach has a fallback thing, and this is his.
Yeah.
So how many players of the 44 on the list have been told to let the butterfly land on them?
I'm not sure.
Or are they just peanuts like us?
No. Well, I am a peanut. He would have told me. He would have been so
has Taylor Walker been told to let the butterfly land on you?
Well, let's ask him.
Has Dawson been asked? Has Dawson had a butterfly land on him?
I think
bet you Isaac Rankin's never had to allow a butterfly to land on him.
I don't know. I know the butterfly got used a lot, so much so potentially there was talk of insect repellent. Let's get some of that. But look, Nixie's good. He'll talk to anyone. That to his credit. And look, the Crows are performing so well. You can knock on his door at any time and talk to him. which is pretty incredible for someone managing that many people. He's very approachable, to his credit.
Brilliant.
But as I said, when you've got that many players coming for feedback, a lot of those guys are guys playing in the twos, wanting to press their case, look for answers. As a coach, it's really difficult at times. You don't have the answers. You just need to be better.
The last time I had anything to do with the butterfly was in Loch Ness, which was in Scotland in the Highlands, and we were doing some fly fishing for some brown trout. And there was a couple of little flies. You know, have you ever fly fished?
Yeah.
And they were butterflies. Put them on a little thing and out by the paddies, and you got a big bloody gob at it. We're going to go to fishing after this.
Worst story ever.
Let's get to a break.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Step back in time with the treasures of the Viking Age at the South Australian Museum. Featuring artefacts of the Galloway Hoard, the most remarkable collection of Viking Age objects ever unearthed in Britain or Ireland. A time capsule of gold, silver and treasures with unique heirlooms is revolutionising our understanding of medieval Europe. They are now being displayed for the first time ever outside of Britain. On now until the 27th of July. Book now at samuseum.sa.gov.au.
What do free Medicare urgent care clinics, cheaper medicines, cheaper childcare, free TAFE, energy bill relief and tax cuts for every taxpayer all have in common? They've all been delivered by the Albanese Labor government to ease cost of living, and Labor will do more. More free Medicare urgent care clinics, more tax cuts, more energy bill relief, more bulk billing for all Australians, and 20% off HEX debt. Labor is building Australia's future.
Authorised P. Erickson, ALP Canberra.
The roller door doctor. This is Nurse Tracy.
Hello, hi. My husband managed to get it up this morning, but now I can't get it to go down again.
Sounds like you need automation. At the Roller Door Doctor, we can turn any garage door from manual to automatic.
Really?
Then you can get it up anytime, anywhere with an app on your phone.
The Roller Door Doctor, helping SA get it up for over 30 years. Contact the Roller Door Doctor for garage door repairs, service and installation. therollerdoordoctor.com.au.
Looking for a way to make a difference while you earn? Do both by joining a clinical trial. If you're aged 18 to 55 and generally healthy, CMAX Clinical Research invites you to help trial a new potential treatment for epilepsy. Eligible participants will spend 3 nights at CMAX, attend 3 follow-up visits and get paid for their valuable time. Join and make a positive impact for over 50 million people experiencing epilepsy. Interested? Apply today at cmax.com.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now more than ever, you need an agent who's not just out for a quick sale. You need someone who can stand their ground to ensure you're maximising your home's potential. There's a good reason Toop and Toop is defying market trends and continuing to deliver premium outcomes for its clients. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Get in quick for Wayville Hyundai's 2024 stock clearance. Every new 2024 Hyundai is priced to clear, but only while stock lasts. Change the way you Hyundai with unbeatable value on the latest models. Ready to drive away today, including the awarded Drive Car of the Year Tucson, Kona, Santa Fe Hybrid and more. Wayville Hyundai's 2024 stock clearance is on now, but only while stock lasts. 11 Goodwood Road, Wayville, or go to wayvillehyundai.com.au before they all disappear.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
26 minutes after 6. We haven't got long. The 5AA Fishing Show with Ned McHenry is only moments away.
We'll tease it. There's a text, Jason, here. It would be the worst tribunal decision since Cochin getting off the prelim final. Correct. That was a good one.
Our listeners are making sense.
Told you.
Are the Blueies still around in the golf?
The Blueies are not going anywhere. The Blueies are so blue and fat and healthy.
But don't they end up bit deeper water now? They start heading out to sea?
A little bit. It'll start to slow down. But I think it's a slightly later season with the blue swimmer crabs. The condition of those crabs is really good at the moment. Things are going well.
What's on the chew at the moment? What are we going to do in the Ned McHenry Fishing Show after 6:30?
Lots on. Now,
lots on the chew.
Got a bit of a cheeky conversational piece. I'll just tease that. I've gone and done something regarding a little fishing poem. Okay, and Riley O'Brien's helped me now.
What is this?
Okay. Oh no, I've just looked at the listener graph and it's just gone off a cliff. Yeah. We've got that. We've got some information around getting some more out of your boat. So with detailing and how you can do some detailing yourself to save some money, but get your fiberglass back and your alley back, which will be good. Our hotspots, of course, and Ned's tips. So plenty on.
Yeah. My motor in my trimmer on my boat's not working at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Any tips for that?
Well, no, I'd have to look at
my
it.
trim tilt. Are you good mechanically?
Okay. I'm not a
So
mechanic.
say we're out at Saunders Bank and the motor didn't start. Have you got start your bastard and all that sort of stuff in your boat?
Not really. If your engine's not starting, there's
it.
something wrong with it. You need to fix it.
Okay. Oh, are we getting the wind up?
Well, we are, because we're cutting into Nettie's time.
Deep. Well, Nettie, see you, mate. Bye.
You've got a crap two-stroke and it's not working because you don't maintain it. That's why it's not turning on. Get into Yamaha, get a bigger engine.
It is a Yamaha. I've got a Yami 150 saltwater.
You big bonehead cowboy.
Just before we get to Nettie's show, which is coming up straight after this break, if you want to get along to Adelaide Thunderbirds' opening game of the season, Timmy, we have tickets for you to get along for you and a friend right now. It's the grand final rematch. It's against the Melbourne Vixens. It's a fantastic opportunity at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre on Saturday. 8223 0055.
Do that, get on, because I drove past today, saw the girls out the front getting ready to train.
Great stuff. AdelaideThunderbirds.com.au as well if you want to get tickets. Time to get to the fishing show.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
We asked our listeners before the break if they like pop-ins.